Attention, the following video features content not suitable for all audiences. With that being said, the video does adhere to all of YouTube's guidelines for content policies. If you are underage or do not wish to see sensitive content, click away now. However, this video does not contain graphic nudity in any way, shape, or form. The entirety of the video is in a text format and is just a narrated reading. It also does not promote hate speech or harmful or dangerous content. It is simply a retelling of events in story form. Furthermore, I did not write this story. Any discrepancies with the narrative or events in this story are not the fault of the uploader. Doverbra, this is your one and only content warning. Enjoy. I'd also like to quickly mention that I do have a Patreon. If you'd like to support the channel financially, feel free to check out the link down below. Projects of this size take an overwhelming amount of time and effort to complete. If you'd like to see more readings like this in the future, or just say thanks for this one, Patreon is a very good way to do so. I did not earn any ad revenue from YouTube, so the money I gain from Patreon is the only form of revenue I make from this. Thank you. When we left off, I had turned to alcoholism to make myself feel better after losing a dear comrade, which is pretty much a hyped up piece of melodramatic shit. Firstly, I'd only taken like half a shot of some rum and coke, which is nothing. Literally a pittance, made worse by the fact that it was, in all likelihood, very cheap rum. Next up, I was only doing it because I felt like I was in that kind of mood where I should be a character that goes to the liquor cabinet and takes a drink to get over it. My experience with alcohol up to that point was mostly in media, so I had no fucking clue what I was really doing anyways. If you haven't called it yet, I was being a gigantic, raging, emotional bitch over there alone in the kitchen, but whatever. That's what I felt like at the time. I was getting picked on nearly constantly and used like a toy the entire time. I'm not going to pretend I didn't enjoy it and throw up a who gives a fuck attitude all the time, but that entire attitude was biting me in the ass. Whenever I made a move, or didn't make a move, everyone else would just blame me for making or not making the move. There was no escape. I was at fault for everything, and the longer I tried to not make myself an enemy of one girl, the more I made myself an enemy of the rest. Really, I was just failing at the politics of the situation. Whatever I was doing, there was a foreboding sense that I would end up screwing this all up and end up without any of them as friends at the end. I was really in the stages of regret at this point, questions flashing across my mind and tearing me up. Was all this worth losing my best friend? Is this worth losing 3 other good friends too? This sounds dramatic, but I was pretty bummed out over the entire morning. In my head, I was going over the bad parts and ignoring all the good, in that stupid way everyone manages to do when they just get in the tiniest bit sad, telling myself I had ruined it all and fucked up everything. See why I felt like I needed a drink to make it all better? Either way, I was standing in the kitchen glaring angrily at the lack of more soda in my cup. Might as well go figure out where everyone went. I just slammed the cup down on the kitchen counter. It's pretty loud, so I'm sure at least everyone in the living room heard me. I don't think I stomped out, but my footsteps were heavy enough to be easily audible. I get to the living room. Homely and Birthday are the only 2 in the living room, and they're playing competitive vidya. They seemed intently focused on winning, working out the anger between one another, I guess. I leave them alone. I really want nothing to do with either of them at the moment. Still in a brooding mood, I meander off to the other side of the house where I imagine the other girls went off to. I find Birthday's room with the door closed. It's gonna be locked, isn't it? I try the handle loudly. It's locked. There's only silence inside, but I hear the faint sound of a TV humming through the wall, so they're probably watching something with the sound turned off. Man, I miss being able to hear televisions through walls. Stupid LCD technology. I've got no interest in going back to the troublesome 2 in the living room, but I'm not welcome here, it seems. I don't even say a word. I just stomp my feet a couple times and then step lighter and lighter until it sounded like I walked away. I then sit myself down, silently against the wall beside the door and start listening. I'm silent, and they're silent. I just drift off into thought about how badly of a fuck-up I am. In terms of helping me get over my mood, this is adding negative percentages. I'm sitting somewhere around negative 300% when I finally hear talking from inside the room. The door, unlike her parents' bedroom, isn't a thick hardwood slab of wood, so I can hear through it more or less fine. It's Blondie talking. Whoever it was, it's gone now. There's an obvious melancholy tone in her voice. I just can't believe he would do something like that, said Blondie. Yeah, he was my favorite too, said Raven. There's nothing but anger in her voice. In my head, I've already decided and confirmed they're talking about me. Mood is at negative 400%. Each word is hitting where it hurts. Man, I sure hope she forgives him. She was in tears, wasn't she? Asked Blondie. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, Raven replied. Oh lord, wait, who was in tears? Glasses isn't in the room? Glasses is crying? Fucking hell, that means she's off somewhere else in the house that I didn't look. Crying. I guess she's not as carefree as I imagined her being. I probably fucked things up with her just as much because I was her first. I'm feeling like a shit stain on the carpet right then. I don't even move. I just keep staring forward and listening. There's a bit more talk about something I really can't understand. It's like whispering or mumbling. I guess I can't really hear the entire conversation through the door. However, various sentences come out louder than others. Really, if this continues for much longer, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I can't take this. More whispering. Blondie says she's going to cry. Raven responds with, whatever he thinks is left, it's gone between us. Whatever, I'm done listening. I'm still at the door against the wall, but I just stop. My ears don't really turn off, but there's just this loud ringing that started up inside my head. I just can't hear anything over it. I'm at negative 700% now, back to dying on the inside. Internal turmoil shredding whatever confidence I had that I could get this situation to fix myself. Well, better start figuring out ways to kill myself. I don't actually have a timer for how long I was sitting there feeling sorry for myself. I was going over how many different ways I could apologize, or just leave and never come back, or just beg and plead until I was back in someone's good graces. Eventually the ringing stops and I hear various scuffling noises inside. The door opens. Whoever it is, they were planning on moving to the living room or something, but just froze when they found me there. I wasn't looking at them, just staring at the floor in front of my crossed legs. I probably looked like a sad, sorry mess, but that's how I felt, so I wasn't trying to hide it. How long were you sitting here? It's Raven. No emotion at all in her voice. I'm fucked now, ain't I? The entire time, is the response my brain decides to stupidly give them. I guess Blondie is on the bed and hasn't seen me yet because she lets out a gasp when she hears my voice. Raven takes two very, very, very loud stomping footsteps towards me and reaches around my front and grabs a handful of my shirt collar. She's not clearly strong enough to actually lift me up like that, but it doesn't matter. I stumble to my feet on my own, completely avoiding eye contact. I'm just staring down at mine and Raven's feet, nothing else. I'm ready for whatever they want to dole out at me. I guess it might make them feel better, and that's all I want out of the situation. Raven shoves me inside the room. I don't even resist, and the door slams behind me. She's got my collar again, and I'm up against the door. I'm trying to avoid eye contact still, but she shakes me until I look at her. Her eyes have something in them I can't read anymore, or maybe I'm just too busy feeling sorry for myself to try. She shoves her face closer to mine and gives me some kind of glare. I don't care what it is. It was just a glare. I can smell her breath. Whiskey? My eyes dart around the room for the first time. It's rather dark in here compared to the hallway outside. The blinds are all closed. The television is on, but it's paused on the main screen of some DVD that isn't playing. It's giving the entire room a bluish glow. There's a bottle and 3 small glasses with ice and liquor in them on the floor. 3? I look at the bed. Blondie and Glasses are staring at me apprehensively. Each one has an earbud in one ear and they're listening to something on a laptop. They don't seem to be paying attention to whatever is on the screen, even though I can see the reflections of some kind of show in each of their eyes and the dancing shadows across the wall behind them. At first, my mind is reeling. I wonder if I was misunderstanding who they were talking about and if it was just a show or something. I get brought back to my not mind by Raven pulling me forward by the scruff of my shirt and then slamming me backwards again. Why were you listening outside? There's only anger in this question. I mumble and stutter a half-bullshit response. It's not really believable though, punctuated by being slammed against the door again. My head is kinda hitting the door every time, and it hurts. I'm not defending myself because I feel like I deserve it. I've dug my grave and now I'm going to lie in it. She can smell my breath now that I responded. Her face changes from emotionless to suddenly understanding that I had been drinking too. She's gone from perfectly reasonable angry Raven to batshit angry Raven. Why were you drinking? Her voice isn't even angry anymore. There's actually nothing in her voice. It's an empty question. I'm not going to just take that one. Why the fuck were you all I get slammed against the door again, and I can't even finish. That one actually really hurt. She's not scuffing me up anymore. She's actually trying to hurt me. I'm still mentally kicking myself and telling myself I deserve it, though. I'm pretty much a pathetic human being. Fuck myself for screwing this all up. Not an ounce of resistance in my body against this assault. Her next words were screamed in a flurry. I don't think she even thought about them before she said them. We're not the problem here. You are. There's only pain in those words. I mentally scrunch up into a smaller ball. I would describe that feeling that I was feeling, but I was forcing myself not to feel anything. As if the act of feeling nothing at all over all of this was actually more painful than feeling something. I don't know how that works. Don't ask me, but it happens sometimes. I've got 1,000 apologies lined up in my head that I wrote outside. I bring my eyes up from the floor and look Raven in the face. I start reciting one. I know I fucked everything up. The room is silent. They seem to be weighing on whatever I'm going to say next. Raven has me pinned back against the door still. Her eyes are shining. Her face is genuinely contorted into rage. I try to choose my next words very carefully. I try not to play favorites and make an... I'm interrupted by Raven's hand to the side of my face, very hard. Favorites? That's not even Raven's voice. It can't be. It's like the battle cry of a harpy you've accidentally stumbled across a nest of after you killed her husband and crushed all of her eggs, and she hit me. I don't even need to explain what's wrong with that, but I already told you what's wrong with that. I can't take any time and contemplate which alien has invaded Raven's body and taken her over because I'm getting screamed at still. That's all you think this is? You playing favorites? She enunciated favorites like it's some kind of huge, complicated word, but it gets the point across like icy hot blasts. I'll show you favorites. I'm really not able to pay attention to anything else she's screaming because at this point she's hit me full palm on the side of my head again. I don't know how many of you Anons have been hit by women, but it's really not like it hurts or anything. I mean, it does, but as a male, you're used to getting hit by your bro, so your pain threshold is rather high, but that doesn't mean that getting hit in the face is painless, especially not when the female in question puts all her strength in it. And trust me, they get like 10 times stronger when they're emotional. They put all their strength into beating your face in. My ears were ringing. The side of my face was white hot like it had just been pressed against a heated frying pan. The pain wasn't on my mind, though. The words, "She's not hitting me," just repeated over and over in my head. She can't be. She would never. This can't be her. I took hit after hit after hit. All I could hear were the cushioning smacks of each contact. Their ringing in my ears followed every one. I take about 6 hits in total and it stops. I'm moved halfway across the room during this entire thing and I'm now actually scrunched up in the corner between the cabinet the TV is sitting on and the wall beside the door. I'm just staring lifelessly down at the floor and leaning against the cabinet. I'm dimly aware of 6 feet, so I assume Blondie in glasses got up and stopped her. I'm not really sure what I feel about that development. I still feel like I deserved every single hit. I guess I was going through Stockholm Syndrome of sorts, empathizing with my abuser. My ears are still ringing, but it's lessening enough to hear the angry words being flung around. I just dumbly stare as Raven's feet pull back from the group and stomp away. I can't really hear the stomps, but I can feel the vibrations through the floor. I'm mentally screaming for someone to stop her, but I don't say a word. Whatever just went down, we're definitely not best friends anymore. Or friends, even. The next thing I see is Glass's face in front of my own. She's crying, for real this time. It's running down her cheeks and down the corners of her mouth, which is scrunched up into a worried purse. She places her hand on my cheek and seems to be checking for damage. Her hand is freezing compared to the solar flare of heat emanating off of my face. I guess I don't have any permanent damage because I'm hoisted to my feet a second later, kinda shuffled over to the bed and I fall on it face first. I'm not even fully on the bed, but I don't give a shit. I'm not in pain though, or whatever pain I'm in is being droned out by the suffering, soul-crushing feeling of my heart actually being ripped out of my chest. Gravity doesn't give a shit about me not being on the bed though, and I quickly find myself sliding to the floor again. I end up sitting at the base of the bed and looking up at Glasses and Blondie, with one thought on my mind. Raven. I manage to eke some words out. Go make sure she doesn't do anything. I pause. I want to say it, but it's on my mind. I'm not sure if it's on theirs too. Stupid. Blondie is off to the living room rather quickly. I hear frantic yelling in the distance about how Raven and I just got in a fight and they need to find Raven. I smile a little bit when she says it's their fault. For fucking once, someone understands. For fucking once. Glasses doesn't say a word. She just silently sits beside me at the base of the bed. I feel her wrap her arm around me, but I'm numb and silent. I'm still comforting. I rest my head on her shoulder and just continue staring into the distance and listening to the sounds of the house being overturned in search for Raven. This goes on for a while. Yells of, "Raven, where are you?" and "Come out and talk, please," echo through the house. I'm staring at one of the cups of liquor on the ground that was tipped over in the scuffle. There's ice cubes in a puddle, just sadly melting. Neither of us gave enough of a shit to clean it up. I do get around to asking how many Raven had, though. "We told her to stop," was the response I got from Glasses. That kind of response that makes you worried because of how much seemingly innocuous regret is inhaled into it. "How many?" I growl. I'm now realizing that the bottle of whiskey is actually half empty. "We had one each. She had 3. What the actual fuck? These aren't even shots. These are actual cups. What the fuck was she thinking? How could she even be that stupid? My mind isn't even feeling sorry for myself anymore. 3 fucking cups? Jesus Christ. Even I would be out like a fucking light with that much, and she's smaller than everyone here. I'm furiously angry at Blondie and Glasses. How fucking retarded could they be, sitting on the bed letting Raven fucking down 3 full fucking cups? How are they that oblivious to her feeling like shit? Not to mention, we now have no clue where she is. So she's hiding somewhere, with enough whiskey in her stomach to get severe alcohol poisoning or worse. And who knows how much else is in her bloodstream. And to top it all off, we have no clue where she is. And they're still yelling in the house, so nobody has found her yet. I'm not even going to stand for this shit. I rattle off so many harsh names and insults at Glasses that it's like she's hit with a goddamn shockwave. I'm up and out the door as I tell her plainly and loudly that she's an absolute shit friend. I end up in the living room where Blondie and Birthday are going over where they haven't looked. I announce to them loudly that Blondie is fucking retarded and Raven has had full 3 cups of whiskey. Birthday is speechless. She's got the look of a deer stuck in headlights. Blondie takes my words like a champion, though, even though her face has sorry written all over it. I guess she already knew she was a real fuck-up. I don't wait for her decision or reaction past that, though. I'm out the room and roaming the house trying to decide where the fuck Raven went. Glasses seems to be looking too. Nobody can find her. She didn't leave the house because nobody heard any doors slam, but just in case, Homely pops out front and goes running around the block to try and find her. I admire the effort, but I know she's got to be in the house somewhere. I can't think. I just can't fucking think. I try to piece together where in the house nobody would have looked. It's been frantic 5 minutes, and I can't even begin to imagine how drunk she is and still digesting more. I ask Blondie if she checked the closet. She shies her eyes downward and says yes. I ask Glasses if she checks the bathroom, and she also says yes. I'm trying to narrow it down where she could have run to. The entire time, I can't get my mind off the fact that she had actually hit me. Out of all the things she could be feeling right now, it's ashamed of herself, and I know her too well to be really angry. She's hiding because she's afraid of what she's done, and she's ashamed. Oh. I know exactly where she is. I know it's not the master bedroom because it's got a baseboard, and not Birthday's. Guest bedroom. I rush over to that part of the house. I barge in the door announcing what a fucking idiot she is. There's big boxes under the bed. Oh fuck. She can't be under there. I jump on the bed and crawl across. There's no sounds, just a squeaking of bed springs. I look down the other side. Boxes. No. Where the hell is she? I fall back onto the bed and make the thing creak again. I think I hear a squeak that isn't the bed springs, but I'm not sure if I imagined it or not. Wait a fucking second. What I just saw plays over in my memory again. I check over the sides again. One of the box's corners actually sticking out an inch away from the bottom bed frame. Sherlock Holmes moment here. In no way anyone would purposely have boxes that didn't fit under the bed. I get out and actually break part of the box, ripping it out from under the bed frame. I don't give a fuck. And guess whose leg I find? The biggest fucking idiot in the house, that's who, fucking pulled the boxes back behind her to hide. If she had stayed down there on her back under the bed, she would have passed out and thrown up, and fucking choked to death on her own vomit or something. Even if she hadn't thrown up, our schools talk to us all the time about alcohol poisoning, hypothermia, heart palpitations, shallow and eventually completely ceased breathing. For a fucking 80 or 90 pound girl who drank as much as she did, there is no doubt in my mind, even to this day, she would have actually fucking died if I hadn't been able to find her. This is not fucking cool at all in my book. The sheer level of stupidity and selfishness that this girl had just caused was mind-boggling. The entire last half hour was so unlike her in every way possible that I couldn't even be sure that it actually happened. Not to mention, if I hadn't found her, I would have blamed my own goddamn self. The level of actual selfishness was off the charts here. I wasn't even capable of speech that could describe how fucking atrocious this all was in my head. I don't even give her a chance to react. I'm not even thinking through my actions anymore. It's all just instinct. In 3 seconds, she's sprawled out on the floor, blinking at the brightness of the light. She's crying. Fuck if I care. In 7 seconds or so, I have her on her feet. In 10 seconds, I'm hauling her out the door, one of her arms over my shoulder. She's awful on her feet, showing all signs of a person who's had way too much to drink. Fuck if I care. 15 seconds, I've yelled throughout the entire house that I found her, scampering feet, and 10 seconds later, I'm in the small bathroom with Raven, and Glasses is helping me hold her up and drag her. I drag her forcibly over to the bathtub and shove her down so she's kneeling on the floor and her head is over it. She's crying and saying that I'm hurting her. I don't fucking care. I'm not even sure what's controlling me in my own body at this point. Make yourself puke. She's crying and shaking her head. I interrupt her bullshit excuse with a fucking lion's roar of now! She's still not having it and shaking her head vehemently from side to side. It's actually flinging her tears and splattering me with them. I think actually most of it might be slobber too. She's an awful, sniveling mess. Alright, have it your fucking way. I grab her head, pull it back, and jam my fingers down her throat. This is, of course, accompanied by all the sounds you would associate with foreign objects violently being thrust into your mouth. Sobbing, coughing, and muffled screams. I know every Anon here has had a finger or two down their throat by their own violation once or twice. Now, imagine trying to do that in the mouth of a human attached to the mouth extremely against the idea. Her throat was contracting. Her tongue was violently trying to force me out. She was clamping her teeth down as hard as she could, and my hand was actually covered in bite marks. I couldn't be sure the bitch had actually broken a bone or two or not. But between Glasses yanking back on her hair and forcing my hand into her mouth and prying it open with my other hand, I do manage to get 2 fingers deep enough to trigger the gag reflex. This doesn't work in any kind of polite manner. Vomit went pretty much everywhere. All over my arm, all over my shirt, all over Raven, all over Glasses' shirt, and all over the bathtub. The only things that didn't get covered in chunks of sandwiches, Coke, and whiskey was pretty much her hair because Glasses had a firm grip on that. I just let go of her and leave her to limply retch into the bathtub. I rip off my shirt, use what was clean of it to wipe my arms and hand off as well as I could. I just crumple it up and toss it into the bathtub. I then took a firm grip on Raven's hair, right above where Glasses was holding it. I'm sure I was squeezing hard and pulling on the roots. It probably hurt her, but I was no longer in a gentle mood, to say the least. I mentioned for Glasses to get her shirt off as well, which comes off at about the same speed as mine as I tossed it into the tub. She's wearing a bra. I know you care, but I didn't at the moment. Raven is done retching and is just limply lying across the bathtub ledge. I just scoop her upwards when the shirt comes off too. I just use it to roughly wipe her face and chin down and toss it as well. She's still sobbing. Too fucking bad. I grab a washcloth off the towel rack, wet it with hot water, and just hand it to Glasses. I get a chance at this point to see 3 women outside the door staring in with worried looks on their faces. I don't even look at them directly. I just stand by the sink. I watch in the mirror as Glasses lovingly cleans up Raven like you would for a small child. The washcloth goes over the sobbing girl's face, wipes away her tears, the spittle from the sides of her mouth, the vomit from her chin and upper chest. The thought came to my head that Glasses would make a great mother someday. This is quickly discarded as impossible. She's clean enough. I get the washcloth back and just leave it in the sink. I kneel down, wrap my arms around Raven's bare waist and hoist her up. She doesn't really go anywhere, just crumples. Oh wow, her fucking legs don't even work anymore. I'm so fucking done with this girl. I just kneel down and grab one of her thighs and wrap my arm around her underarm and back, and then I hoist it all upwards. This results in the laziest fucking possible way of picking up a girl, but it's the easiest if you're in a small space and have 0 leverage on a limp body. I've got one leg fully over my shoulder, the other just hanging loose. Then, her entire upper body is hanging off to the side of me. She's kind of complaining, but no fucks are given. I just turn sideways and walk her out there and back to the guest room. Glasses is step in step with me, though. Goddamn miracle woman she is. Before I'm even to the bed, Glasses has rolled back the covers. Raven goes in. We prop her up with pillows on her side. I guess one of us had seen it in a movie or something. Wrap her up so she can't move in the blankets. Problem fucking solved. Let her sleep the rest of whatever is in her system off. She's still kind of awake, though. I probably have to make sure she at least goes to sleep. I lie back on the bed and turn her over to look at her. She's half awake. When you get someone really drunk into a warm, comfy bed, they kind of fade off fast. I glare at her. She starts moving her lips. It's a faint but clear thank you. I say the first thing that comes to my mind. I fucking hate you. Yep, that was the first thing. She doesn't even flinch. Frankly, I think she smiles. She mumbles, I know, before she's off to slumberland. Yeah, well, fuck you and sweet dreams too. I'm up. I'm still shirtless, like I give a fuck anymore. I stand up and start to leave before realizing we should probably check in on her every couple minutes. I just point at the girls and make it clear that it's their job to make sure she's breathing every 10 to 15 minutes. I grab Glass's arm and lead her back to the bathroom. I close the door and lock the door and turn on the shower. Watch as the disgusting mess just kind of washes away down the drain. Of course, it's not going to be that easy though. Chunks get stuck everywhere and it's all over the clothes. Glasses and I spend 10 minutes scrubbing the bathroom clean. We don't take off any more clothes. We don't really get more than our upper torsos in the shower, but we get everything clean and wash ourselves off thoroughly. We walk out the bathroom with pretty much the entire top halves of our body dripping wet, and a pile of clothes in my hand. We get about 5 steps out of the bathroom before I yell out across the entire household, Blondie, homely, birthday, living room now! They better fucking listen. We end up waltzing into the laundry room and just tossing the wet clothes in an empty hamper. We'll deal with that later. We move back to the living room and they're actually kind of lined up like soldiers. I don't think it was intentional, but I just forced Glasses to stand in ranks along with the rest of them. She's still not wearing a shirt. I'm still not even wearing a shirt, and this doesn't make my fucking terror-inducing look of malice any less scary to them all, though. I'm like a goddamn army sergeant up here addressing troops. I've got rules to lay down of my own now. First thing I do is call Blondie and Glasses absolutely shit friends again. I make it clear that they really fucked up. Not just in the little, oh well, you could have stopped it, way either. I make it firmly clear that although she's completely to blame for drinking so much herself, they could have stopped her at any time. I make it clear that they both owe Raven a serious something whenever the time comes for favors to be cashed in. Glasses gets off the hook a bit because she did really help me with her though. Next on my list is fucking alcohol. I'll lay down the law, and nobody is to touch another goddamn drop. I send Blondie to go retrieve the cups in the bottle from Birthday's room and burn them. We don't say a word while we wait for her to come back. It's pure silence. I've got a look on my face and make sure it stays silent. All the girls are really standing up straight now. It's like a bunch of Marines. They're probably terrified of me. Eventually, Blondie returns and assumes her position in line. Third on my list is the sleepover itself. It's over. The silence doesn't hold. Dissent in the ranks. We shouldn't be punished. It's her fault, said Blondie. We weren't even drinking, protested Birthday. I pulled a shut the fuck up card twice, and I make it very goddamn clear that a girl almost died here. That us just dicking around and having a good time was over. I make it full well and clear that I'm going to call Raven's mom and have her come pick her up, and the sleepover was over. Everyone groans. Homely blurts out, it's not our fucking fault she has problems. We're not as fucked up as your friend. Oh man, Homely, the one thing you could have said to set me the fuck off, you did. I just slap a smile on my face, a shallow, empty, cheek-to-cheek, terrifying smile. She sees it and shrinks back. No argument left. I don't even wait for any more opinions and just start walking away. Wait! It's Glasses. You can't. You know you can't. She's right. I'm on great terms with Raven's mom, but even the most innocent explanation for why she was drunk and out like a light would just set off old bombs that are better left buried. Fuck, maybe I can call my mom or something? Take care of Raven. Right. I guess it's a really dumb idea to get any parents involved in this. Doing the responsible thing is the right choice, I guess. It would set off lots of parental bullshit meters if the other parents found out I was around at the sleepover anyways and that alcohol was involved. Only so much of a lie you can hold when shit like this goes down. Not to mention the almost died part. Blondie points this out word for word. Plus that whole almost dying thing. I guess she's right. I turn around. Listen up, maggots! They jump like half a foot and stand up straight. Goddamn, that was pretty neat. I didn't think they would do that. If we're going to continue this, we need some oath of secrecy that nothing leaves this sleepover Birthday comes up with some sappy, multi-pinky finger swear system, and oaths are said to not speak a word of anything that happened or happens. For those of you who don't know what a pinky swear is, it requires all participants to extend hands and link your pinkies with one another. I just stand there and watch with my hands behind my back. Now that this is done, I snap at Homely to go make sure Raven is alright. She's up and out of the room in an instant. God, I wish I could do that all the time. I'm out of alpha for the time being though, so I just ask, then what are we doing now? It kind of comes out with a little bit of alpha left over, but it's less of a question more than a demand. It's only like 1 p.m. Birthday suggests more board games. I don't give a shit. Glasses doesn't seem to give a shit either. We both have no shits to give. I'm not fucking fixing that though. Let's play board games. Birthday pulls out the pile of board games again. Monopoly, no. Risk is too long. Chutes and Ladders, lol. Chess, checkers, Battleship, no. Jenga, hell yes. Blondie says no to Jenga though. Pokemon Master Trainer, motherfucking board game. Hell fucking yes. This is how you get over near-death situations, Anons. We set that shit up. Wait up. Winner needs to actually get something. They can tell all the losers to do one thing together and they have to do it? Homely? I guess it's not that bad of an idea, Homely. But I feel like anyone else could have come up with something better. Everyone seems to like that rule though. Time to be a Pokemon fucking master. Goddamn, roaming the countryside, catching some Pokemon. That game had like 150 Pokemon tokens you could capture. It was great and nobody had it. We get to the Elite Four. Each of us is getting our asses wrecked. Except for one girl. Homely. God damn it. She rolls a motherfucking rare chance card and captures an Articuno and a Zapdos. It gets like a fully evolved set of god tier Pokemon. Seriously, what the fuck? Everyone else is floundering around with Magikarp and Rattatas. She just rolls through and dominates everything, blows through the Elite Four, wins whatever the end game was. I can't handle this. Everyone is mad. Alright, I get to tell you guys to do something, right? I fucking hate you so much, Homely. This better be good. Everyone needs to stand on their heads for 20 seconds. Everyone is really mad. What kind of dumb, fucked up demand is that, Homely? I mean, holy shit. That's worse than like entry-level truth or dare. I mean, fucking, goddamn, I'm gonna kill all of you as soon as I get the chance. I can't even handle how bad at sexy without your shirt tucked in. Okay. I guess that's alright. Still pretty shit though. Only really works on Blondie and Birthday, but I guess that's fine. I go first. I can't stand on my head for shit. I just fall over. Can't hold 20 seconds at all. Can't even hold 5. Eventually, Homely takes pity and grabs my legs and holds me up, which would be pity if she didn't take the chance to run her hands down my ankles. I just shut up and ignore her. Since it's not really something that's likely to make the other girls angry, I get my 20 seconds over with. Glasses decides to go next. She's perfect at standing on her head. I don't understand how that works. Probably breasts are counterbalances or something. Her breasts go from sagging a little bit downwards to upwards towards her face as she does the flip over. She's still got her bra on, so not much movement really, but it's a lovely excuse to stare at her chest and a delicious underboob for 20 seconds. She eventually rights herself and is finished. The best part is, I can still stare at her chest. I'm broken out of my reverence by Blondie offering up her turn next. She does a half somersault and ends up with her legs kicking in the air. Her shirt falls down and is pretty loose, so right over the front of her bra it goes. There's an absolutely glorious span of skin visible, from the waistband of her shorts, which seems to be a tad low on her hips, to the lovely triangle flesh above her breast but below her shirt. Even her belly button is tantalizingly visible. Her chest is rather firm, so there's no sag at all upside down. Just cute, blue bra encased breasts for 20 seconds, with adorable kicking legs in the air. Except she tumbles down after 15. Homely stomps her foot. You have to do all 20! Redos. Blondie's forced to do another entire 20 seconds, with enough skin that I'm inclined to become a vampire again. Last up is Birthday. She's blushing in the corner and standing behind where Glasses is. I don't know why, but the only person she would be embarrassed about showing her tits to would be me, and she probably knows I was looking at them all morning. Oh, come on, dude, they're just tits. Let me see already. She steps out. Oh, right. She's wearing a skirt. Homely, you evil genius. She seems to just decide in her head that she should just get it over with. Birthday walks over to where everyone else was doing handstands and kind of kneels there facing away from us. She just leans forward with her arms on the ground and elevates one leg up in the air. Gravity does its job and her skirt just falls down around her torso. She lifts up the other leg and keeps them both held towards the ceiling. We can't see her chest with her skirt falling around her shoulders, but what we do see is much better. First, we start at the ankles. Her long, smooth legs were completely revealed towards us. I could see knees, thighs, and even the elusive upper thigh in one look. Her skin was a lovely shade of white. I guess she didn't tan much either. She was also shaved smooth the entire way, legs and all. This means one great thing. Her underwear is firmly pressed into the crease of her crotch. This leaves absolutely nothing to the imagination. As far as we're all concerned, we knew exactly where that vagina started and ended. She holds this position for 10 seconds. 12. 14, she gives a little waggle. She's on the ground at 16. I don't understand how. She had perfect form. Well, you knew the rules. She had to go do it again. Up in the air, her legs went again. Down around her shoulders, the skirt went again. Up in the air, my boner went. This time, she wiggles her legs a bit the entire time. This forces the panties back and forth through the crease. We're really just standing like 4 feet away from this. Even the girls were staring. 16, 17 seconds, and she's on the floor again. Homely is looking embarrassed. She tries to say that Birthday made it to 20 seconds that time, but Birthday won't have any of it. No, I can do it, I swear. Let me try again. She's sneaking peeks at all of us now while giving this little piece of acting, though. We know. Birthday stands backs up and puts her hands on her hips and pulls and wiggles a tiny bit. Says she's readjusting. She gets back in position, but she's facing us this time. She goes up. First one leg, then the other. Because she started facing us, it takes longer for the skirt to fall out of sight this time. When it does, we get 3 audible gasps from our crowd. Me twice. And Glasses. She had wedged the back part of her underwear perfectly between the crease of her butt cheeks. Both of them were perfectly visible, flapping in the wind even. Not to mention, we got to see the entire smooth backs of her legs to go with it. She holds this for 15 seconds. Then she spreads her legs and gives us a full view of her crotch, panties digging in the entire way. Then she starts falling again. Not this time. Homely grabs her legs and forces her upright again for the last 5 seconds. Aw, Homely, you were so close. Birthday gets up and won't actually look any of us in the eye, though. I guess it helped that her skirt completely hid us from view when she was doing it. Homely declares that a rule is a terrible failure and we shouldn't use it again. She's complaining she's the only one who didn't get a turn. That's alright in my book, and we ignore her. I inform Blondie she's in charge of coming up with the next rule, and I walk off to check on Raven. I pop into the guest room. She's curled up with her arms wrapped around one of the pillows that's propping her up. She hasn't really moved much otherwise. She's got a big clump of hair sticking into the side of her mouth, though. I wiped it away and tried to tuck it behind her ear with my hand. I don't really break contact and move closer to her and make sure she's breathing. I move my hand over her forehead and check her temperature. At the time, I wasn't really sure what I was supposed to be doing, okay? I just associated it as being dangerously sick, so, check everything. Confident she's safely in the arms of slumber and not eternal slumber, I return to the board game room. Blondie hasn't really come up with a new rule. She's just saying we should get to ask one person truth or dare. I hate this game. I never win. I mean, it's not possible to win truth or dare with women. Come to think of it, I don't seem to win anything around these women. Jenga is determined as our next endeavor of time wastery. We set up the tower and throw down the rules. Everyone gets a turn. If you make the tower fall, you have to set it up again and wait until we start a completely new round. Everyone gets a turn. If you make the tower fall, you have to set it up again and wait until we start a completely new round. It starts 5 players, then 4, then 3, then 2. Winner gets the truth or dare 1 person. We play Blitzkrieg's rules. After the first round of turns, you have to take 2 blocks, then 3. So rounds go by pretty damn fast. Homely's out first, Glasses, then me. And it's Birthday versus Blondie. Insane tower balancing skills. I don't understand how it's not falling down, but they're good. They get the 6th set of turns. Birthday manages to take 3 pieces and place them on top, then get another 2 from the stack she's made. But she's out of pieces and screws up on the last one, which means Blondie wins. Alright, finally time for some serious lewd. Come on, Blondie. Let's do some justice. Blondie turns to face Glasses. Truth or dare? Glasses picks truth. What's the most perverted thing you've ever done? Whew, fuck. Don't fucking answer that, Glasses. You know better. Goddamn, if any of them find out, I'm so dead. I decide the best choice of action is a tactical retreat the second she breaks the news. A tactical retreat down the street, that is. Glasses doesn't even flinch, though. She puts on her typical evil smile and begins. Sure thing, that's easy. Oh no. It happened quite recently, I guess. Every muscle tenses in my body. I'm ready to fucking bolt. Well, you guys know that trip I took on an airplane earlier this month? I'm halfway out the door mentally. Wait, what? I do actually flinch though, and Glasses definitely sees it. If anything, she smirks wider. Well, on the trip, I had a seat all by myself by the window, next to this older guy. Some family man, had 2 kids and a wife down the aisle. I was really kind of worked up and I hadn't really been alone all vacation, and the book I had was getting kind of intimate and wasn't helping. I ended up throwing my jacket over my lap and just, well, not just once too. I did it twice, and I think the guy next to me even noticed. Actually, I'm sure he noticed. I think that made it better. This has somehow kept a straight face the entire time. The girls break out into hoots and giggles when she finishes her story, though. I got a kind of stupefied face on. I'm still not sure if I should run or not. I'm worried because she's either lying through her teeth or is an absolutely amazing liar, or that really happened. I don't know if that's hot or not to mention that might be more perverted than sex with me, but just the fact that that might have been true or she came up with it on the spot. Glasses is scary. My male ego was confused. I don't know, Anons, I need clarification. Is that more perverted? Fucking Glasses. I did, but still. Next round is set up. It's me versus Blondie versus Glasses in the finals. Blondie makes it to 4 pulls before she screws one up. Next round. I lose on pull number 3. Fuck, I'm no good at this game. Glasses is staring me down. I prepare for the question and mentally decide dare is my best bet. Blondie, truth or dare? Oh, payback. I got it. I guess I'll go with truth, Blondie says. What's the most perverted thing you've ever done? Glasses. No, what are you doing? I thought I was safe. I'm ready to bolt out the door again. Glasses is just giving me the most taunting eyes possible. Blondie just kind of stares straight forward for a second, lost in thought. Then I realize she's blushing pretty deeply. She blurts out, Dare! I meant dare! Dare! Birthday whispers into my ear that she's a fucking cheater. I agree, but I'm okay with it. Glasses doesn't miss a beat. Well, you're wearing a bit much. How about losing your shirt? Blondie realizes she's been caught between undressing in front of me or admitting to everyone that she was already undressed in front of me. She ends up giving a little and reaching down to her waist and pulling up her gray tank top over her head. Delicious, perky, and gravity-defying breasts encased in her lovely blue bra from earlier, but still. Well, like I said, most of Blondie's upper body was really elegantly appealing. Even without her breasts being exposed, there was plenty of delicious eye candy. I was formulating plans in my head to kidnap her again and remind myself of this, but I had already promised myself no more public shows of attention, so even though I really wanted to stare at her, I reeled it in. Courteous peeks, just like I had been doing with Glasses. Next round. Me, Homely, and Birthday. Birthday loses. It's me versus Homely. No, I must not lose. 3 blocks. Nobody down yet. 4 blocks. Oh no, it's getting pretty hairy. 5 blocks. Homely picks every brick you can possibly move and leaves absolutely nothing for me. Fuck. I try for my first brick. Tower on the ground in pieces. I fail so hard the pile actually catches fire. Time for my reckoning. She starts up innocently enough. Oh, I don't know. Who should I ask? She's got one finger on her lips. I know she knows who she wants and she's just being suspenseful. She points at me. Truth or dare? Oh no. I weigh the options. Truth will probably fuck me over. Dare, Homely, will probably fuck me over. I'm gonna go with truth. Maybe I'll do less damage and I can always lie out of all the bad ones. Truth. Alright, I've got a good one for you. Which girl do you like the most in this room in a romantic way? Fuck. All the girls in the room perk up. No. This is exactly what should not be asked. No public displays of affection or I get castrated. I know the rules. I can't play favorites. I can't. Wait, I got this. No, I'm sorry. I said dare. Phew. I'm saved. There's nothing she can think of that's worse than that. She's got no expression change on her face. Oh, I misheard you. I've got a perfect dare for you. I'm ready for it. Give it to me straight, boss. I dare you to... Oh, no. Kiss the girl in the room you're most romantically attracted to. No. Truth and dare with girls. Not even once. I abandon all hope. Man the lifeboats. The captain's going down with the ship. I'm pretty sure that she's got to be cheating. There's a rule against that, right? I'm looking around hopefully, but all the girls are boring me with eye drills. Oh god, I gotta think about this logically. Glasses doesn't like me going after Blondie, but I don't know her opinion on Birthday. Blondie would be crushed if I kiss anyone but her. Birthday would be crushed if I kiss anyone but her. Fuck Homely. I don't know what she was thinking, but it's definitely not her. But hurting her feelings is a bad idea too. I can't win. There's no winning. It's all gone wrong. Please, time traveling Anons, send help. I've got one plan. Delay. It's an important decision. I need time to think. I say this with a sincere, thoughtful face on. At least, I hope it's a sincere, thoughtful face and not the fear and terror I had on the inside. The girls collapse into awws. And, of course, from birthday, I figure it's worked. Of course, I know who I would kiss, but they won't know that. I'm gonna go the route that doesn't involve suicide caused by multiple homicides on me. I stand up and just walk away. I think I end up in the kitchen. I'm not alone, though. I have 2 followers, Birthday and Blondie. They're giving me these looks. The eyes, man, they're just staring into me. You like me more, right? You're going to kiss me, right? I'm your in-real-life waifu, aren't I? This is what those eyes were saying. Please send help. I book it out of there. I turn the corner, turn like 6 more corners to make sure I've lost them. I might be doing laps of the living room, but I don't care. I open the bathroom door and step in. I close and lock the door. I turn around. Homely is standing there, knees bent. She's halfway to removing her pants and sitting down to use the loo. I meet her eyes, and she meets mine. 2 seconds pass. She continues pulling her pants down. I flip a shit. I jump in the air, open the door, and do a 360 no-scope the fuck out of there, just doing continual moonwalk spins and headshotting people as I exit the bathroom. I don't even know where I'm going. I just go around 7 corners backwards and have over 15 confirmed kills. I just go through a door and lock it. I am so done. I turn around, and it's the guest room. Raven is still curled up. I walk over and place my hand on her head again. She's got her face scrunched up, and she's breathing softly. Fuck, I wish Homely hadn't said, this room. This would have been easy. I would have led them in here and given Raven a kiss on the cheek, considering they know we were best friends and I had just pulled her out of a burning building in the eyes of the group. It would have been met with a group aw, and the dare would have been over. Nobody would have been hurt. They wouldn't even be jealous because Raven would never even know. It would be a cute, secret crush instead of an open admittance of love over all the rest. But no. If war is what Homely wants, that's what she's gonna get. I get off the bed and walk back to the door, going over the dare in my head. I take one look back at Raven, walk out and lightly close the door as to not wake her. I put my game face on. I return to the kitchen and find the 2 Medusas staring me down with eyes of petrification. I tell them I've made my choice. They follow me back to the area we were playing games. All of the girls look solemn. The moment of truth is upon us. I have them all sit down in a row. I'm still shirtless, mind you, and so is Blondie and Glasses. Homely looks rather embarrassed, but I couldn't give a shit. She should lock the goddamn door. I tell them that I thought long and hard about my decision, that the girl I'm going to pick is definitely the one that I would like to be romantically involved in. I continue hyping it up like this. I say that it's the most attractive woman in the room, the most special, the most mentally stimulating. These girls are in the palm of my hand. Each one is imagining I've said all these nice things about them, that I'm going to pick one of them up and romantically sweep them off their feet. I've got them all riled up into boiling and frothing pots of hormones. It's time to pick one. I kneel down in front of... I think we need a vote on which girl I should pick. The vote is irrelevant, but I'm curious. Which Pokemon should Woody capture on his quest to catch them all? Votes from the readers at the time. Blondie, 7. Glasses, 8. Homely, 3. Birthday, 1. Raven, who wasn't even an option, had 5. Other thing in the room, 2. It's Glasses. I'm quick about it too. She can't even react as I lean in and press my lips against hers. She's almost motionless at the time. She's probably absolutely terrified at what I've just done, at the fact that I chose her over everyone else there. I just keep kissing. She opens up after 10 seconds. I can hear the sounds of every other girl in the room's heart breaking. It's gone from just lips to full French. She still tastes a bit like whiskey, but it's sweet and almost lustful. I've got my tongue chasing hers across the valleys of cheeks and gums. We're playing the breath game again. I breathe out and she breathes in. I breathe out and she breathes in. I get lost in her mouth, but I know it's getting time to end it. I pull back. Her eyes are glimmering. I've never seen her so happy. Time to break her heart. I pull back and just leap at the next girl down the line. It's Blondie. She gives a surprised squeak, but it's interrupted by my lips on hers. Electricity. We still tumble backwards a bit. She doesn't seem to know what to do. I just wrap one arm around her lower back and force her chest up against mine. Her breasts are pressing against me. Her stomach muscles are fluttering against mine. She's taking quick, short breaths. She doesn't know how to play the breath game, but it's alright. It's different. She tastes like whiskey, like glasses, but also somehow maple syrup still. Maybe she just usually tastes like maple syrup? Could be secretly Canadian. I'm lapping her up like a thirsty kitten though. Her tongue doesn't know what to do, but eventually we fall back into the rhythm we had earlier in the closet. It's close. Less intimate than Glasses and I, but it's different. Her body is different. Her taste is different. She's giving little gaspy breaths all of a sudden. I realize I'm running my hand over her stomach and tickling her. Oops. I keep doing it. About a minute and a half into the kiss, I pull away, and it's on to the next victim. Homely appears to be next down the line. Well, here we go. Submarine ready. We're diving, Captain. My lips contact hers. She's just as surprised as Blondie was. I guess she really wasn't expecting to be chosen at all. She just lips, gums, and teeth, though. I don't know why she doesn't realize it, but opening your mouth is a thing that you do when kissing. She probably hasn't been kissed many times. Poor Homely. Still, though, the kiss is awful. She tastes like Coke and white bread, not the most appealing flavor. I try my best to teach her to open up, but it's no use. After a minute and a half, I just pull away. I'm dead on the inside, but she seems happy, so it's whatever. And last, but not least, she's sitting kinda far away. I do a flying leap at Birthday. I manage to tackle her to the ground in a way that doesn't injure either of us. Our lips connect. She's hot. Her skin is burning compared to mine. She also doesn't know how to kiss, but she's far better than Homely. Salty, a tad sour. Her tongue seems to be the most flavorful part. She's not very good with her mouth or her lungs, but she's all over me with her hands. I get hands on my back. She squeezes my butt. She's pressing herself into me. Without a doubt, she's the most physical of the four. She's even grinding against me, letting out soft moans. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I do my deed and cop a feel of her breasts anyways. I make sure to use my left hand so the group can't really see what I'm doing since she's at the end of the line, but I definitely get a nice, hard grasp and a rub of her breast. It's glorious. Somehow, she gets one of her legs around mine and pulls me upwards a little. Oh my god. My hardened crotch brushes hers. This is like the best shifting weight sensation ever. It's fucking amazing. She does it 3 more times as we continue kissing. Eventually, I have to pull back. My little friend tries to stay, but he's attached to the rest of me. I move backwards into a sitting position. I'm completely out of breath, for very good reason. I lean back, mulling over the various kisses and the ups and downs. All the girls are looking at me with various confused, Homely, amazed, Glasses, angry, Blondie, or just turned on, Birthday, faces. I'm categorizing the kisses in my head. Glasses had the best kissing technique by far. Blondie was the most exotic. Homely was the worst kiss, and Birthday was the most physical. I'm kind of silently wishing Raven were here so I could try hers too, but I take that back pretty quick. I'd want no part of her if she was awake now. It's really no contest who was the most fun to kiss though. I stand up, I put on my best shit-eating grin. My voice is full of nothing but true glee as I announce, I've fulfilled Homely's dare of kissing the one woman in the room I would most like to be romantically involved with. The rest of you just let me kiss you. Who would have thought it was that easy? This is the part where I start running. I yell behind me, I'll never forget any of them. I'm dodging pillows and half the Jenga set flies by my face. I'm writing this as I'm locked in the bathroom. There's loud banging and I think they've got a battering ram. Time traveling Anons, please send help. Well, that's where I stop tonight, Anons. I need to wait for the time travelers to send help anyways. When we left off, I was locked in the bathroom with angry women possibly beating down the door. No time-traveling Anons came to my rescue. Jerks. I had to solve this one on my own at the time. I was in a pretty great mood though, since I had just made out with every currently conscious girl in the house, in a span of 10 minutes. Of course, the banging and yelling outside the bathroom wasn't helping my mood. Come out so we can castrate you, said Blondie. This was accompanied by hurried agreements and more banging. There goes my thoughtful assassin, thinking ahead as always. Far as I saw it, they weren't actually too angry. Women, especially, tend to pull this very often compared to men, where they'll get angry and overreact to a subject that they aren't actually as emotionally vested towards as they make it out to be. This seems to be partially for entertainment reasons and partially because faking strong emotions gives you control over the situation. manipulation, and advantages in future situations, really. This isn't rare among men either, but men are usually complete bitches about it when they do. Alright, I guess the women are being complete bitches too. But they were angry enough that hiding in the bathroom was a valid option, so I guess they were winning. As far as I was concerned though, I had them right where I wanted them. Each one was now playing the words I had sung to them earlier over and over in their head, about being the cutest, most intelligent, most beautiful, and the most desirable in the room. Each girl had the vain hope that it was them I was talking about. Each girl was probably replaying the kisses over and over along with those words too. I'm no Casanova, but I tried to not make the kisses awful. I know I was playing my favorite in my head at least. I'll give you a hint. It wasn't homely. However, I had other things to do than reminisce about my past. It was time to defuse the situation. I walked up to the bathroom door and pressed my head against it, facing the door crack. I wanted them to be able to hear me clearly. They were still shouting various angry things and banging on the door though. Homely was screaming, "Who was it?" Birthday, "You tasted like all the other girls. I want a rematch." The vibrations of the banging resonated through the door and were giving me a cheek massage. I think I was enjoying this. "He's probably jacking off," Glasses said. I spit my drink all over myself at this comment. Except, I don't have any drinks and I'm up against the door, but that's the reaction anyways. The girls on the other side of the door devolve into hooting, giggling, and more banging. "Open up! Let us see!" squeaks an exasperated Birthday. "He's embarrassed now. We should let him finish," Blondie said in a taunting, sing-song voice. Blondie's spirits are way higher than I would have thought. I thought I crushed her a bit too hard when I kissed Glasses first. She probably couldn't be anything but happy when I went straight to her second. "He probably needs help," said Glasses. "Yes, please. I bet it's small. That's why." A chorus of giggling and snickering ensue from Blondie, Birthday, and Homely instantly. I don't even need to tell you who said this, but fuck you too, Homely. Glasses has done wonderfully though. She successfully changed the situation from castrate him anger to sexual humiliation and teasing. Glasses is such a bro, even though you might not think so, but I can work with this. It's almost safe to come out. I speak as clearly through the door as I can. "Stop." I say it softly but loud enough that they can hear it. One word, but the banging stops and they listen for the rest. I put on a completely somber tone, trying to interject the tiniest hint of emotional sorrow into what I say next. "You guys will wake Raven." The silence from the other side of the door as I continue. "One of you go check on her, would you?" Complete silence on the other side of the door. Eventually, I hear footsteps leaving. My plan has worked perfectly. Firstly, I've interjected guilt into the mix. They realize they were being really loud and feel guilty about it. I honestly couldn't give a shit about waking Raven, and I really doubt they would have woken her, but they don't know that. This just throws them a bit off balance, just enough to ask one of them to leave. I've changed the odds. It's 3v1 now, and I can take this. I speak again, through the door. I'm coming out." Still silence. I unlock the door. It's not instantly shoved down, and I'm not on the floor. I consider this a victory. I've got to take him when I can get him. I know I got to keep the victories coming, though. I crouch down and start charging. Fall! I open the door when I'm half charged. First target is Blondie. Perfect. She gets hit hard in the stomach with the force of 1,000 screeching falcon punches that accompany my punch. Homely and Birthday are the only two left. I'm still dawning on them that I'm out of the bathroom. They don't understand yet. I still have the advantage. I give Homely an old Saget tiger knee to the stomach. She doesn't even block. Her feet even leave the ground for a moment. She's down. Birthday versus me now, but she's under my plan. I try to catch her off guard with a generic karate chop to the right shoulder. I know that if I can disable one arm, I can win. She dodges to the left, and I'm left open. She hits me with some goddamn lightning legs like Chun-Li. I guess she doesn't need her arms. At least 10 hits before I fall backwards. I'm on the ground, clutching my stomach. She moves over to gloat, hands on her hips. I was just pretending. Dragon uppercut. She's in the air, then she's on the floor, and I win. I walk in victory to the living room. The girls follow me. Blondie has her hands on her hips in a characteristic, "You have some splaining to do, mister," kind of style. Birthday and Homely mimic her in seconds. I try to avoid them and sit on the couch, but Homely stops me. "Oh no, you ain't going nowhere." She even matches us with her hand going in that Z motion and snapping her finger at every corner. They surround me. Blondie places her hand on my chest for a tantalizing second before shoving me down onto the armchair. They're all towering over me, hands on their hips. I'm being glared at from all directions. This is when I realize all of the women were black. and blue with jealousy. Back in 2005, black culture was pretty cool-ish amongst white kids. It was ever present in media, and of course, you just kind of picked up silly things and did them sometimes. This isn't racist. Fuck you, it was fun. White culture is never cool anyways. They were demanding answers though. Glasses shows up as well. She just plops down on the right arm of the chair and accompanies the staring contest. I'm considering staring back to her, but picking one girl to look at might give away hints I can't afford to be giving. I'm trying to think of ways out of this. I already laid most of my webbing before I started kissing. I guess I have an escape route or two. I test one of the webs. Well, I just thought that the girl would know is all. Expressions soften all around. I've now got 4 sets of cute puppy/kitty cat eyes glimmering at me. Goddamn adorable. I've got this. They all shut up and think it's themselves. I continue. I tried to make the kiss between us special. All the kisses were special. I'd kiss all the girls differently. Even if they compared, they could argue about it for hours. This plan was flawless. I just had to walk away. A soft voice breaks out of all the others. I knew it was me. No! You idiot! Blondie, you fucking idiot! All you had to do was not say anything. She's got a smirk on the size of Kansas, though. She knows exactly what she's done. She's killed me. Her mission was complete. This is it, folks. My dismembered limbs are carried in a parade through the city, my head on a golden plate. The girls break into turbo bickering. He liked me the most, said Homely, as I'm trying to sneak away. No, of course he didn't. I had butterflies in my stomach when he kissed me, Blondie said in return. I've gotten on my hands and knees. I've started scaling the left of the armchair. Birthday says, well, he groped my breasts. He didn't do that to you all, did he? I'm halfway to freedom when I feel a hand on the waistband of my pants. He what? Blondie and Homely said together. I turn back and look. It's Glasses. She's got a brimming, evil smile on again. She does really enjoy seeing me suffer. Yeah, I was grinding against him like the entire time, said Birthday. She's got her hand firmly down the back of my sweatpants, though. I'm not escaping. Well, I didn't have a shirt on. His chest was fully pressed against mine, said Blondie. She's like squirming with glee at this statement. I guess it was really good for her. And his hands were all over my stomach. It was so hot. Her voice is like a flittering songbird singing out to a mate. I don't know how she does that, but her excited voice is something to behold. Well, it was excited until Birthday points out that Glasses got the same treatment. She's right, but I didn't tickle Glasses. I don't say this, though. That would be really stupid. But I was really confused why everyone was looking at me. Oh no. That was in quotation marks, wasn't it? I'm so sorry, past self. Nobody is talking. Everyone is looking at me. Blondie's not looking at me, though. She's looking through me and saluting the American flag with her freedom face on. Head held high, right hand over her breast. She knows she's temporarily won the war. I guess shirtless kisses really are the best, huh? Birthday says this with a defeated sound in her voice. I actually felt a little bad. I did get quite a bit more actual skin contact with Blondie and Glasses than I did her. Although, I would have probably exploded in my pants if she had been able to get any more physical with that kiss. Homely suggests herself and Birthday get a redo with shirts off. This sounds like a great plan at first, and I'm nodding on the inside. Wait a second. My eyes narrow. I realize it's a clever, homely trap. She's the only girl that's not wearing a bra. I would have to kiss her topless. I contemplate asking Glasses if I can borrow her bra to wear myself as protection. Then I realize there's just a better plan. I relax back into my seat. Glasses doesn't remove her hand, though. It's still down the back of my pants. I shift over and whisper into Glasses' ear. Homely doesn't have a bra on. That would be unfair. Her hand is probably very visible down the back of my pants. I don't want to look at all the women, but I can feel the heat of the eye lasers. Glasses doesn't say anything. She just gets up and removes her hand. She roams over around the group of people and scoops up Homely's arm and leads the way. Phew. Safety assured. I inform Birthday she's going to need to calm her tits. I get the statement out just in time because she's trying to undress right there. She's dying to kiss me with her shirt off. Blondie has a sadder look on her face than she did earlier. But it's not fair if they get to kiss again. Aw, Blondie wants another kiss too. I'm sure Glasses would feel left out if she didn't get a kiss too. I'm not actually sure how I want to handle this. On one hand, I want all the girls shirtless. Even Homely a tiny bit. Don't hate me. On the other hand, I know that kissing them isn't going to actually help at all. It might seem fair on the outside, but they will just harshly judge every single movement I make. I would have to kiss all of them the exact same. I don't know if I could even do that, or resist not making each one different. I would have to tie myself up or something. Well, I guess it'll work. But fuck tying myself up. I would be dead in mere seconds. I inform Blondie and Birthday of my plan. Blondie hates it. Birthday is grinning evilly. I guess that means it's a good plan? We're waiting for Glasses and Homely to come back. Blondie complains to me the entire time. She really hates the plan, but I think it's really cute. Glasses and Homely return, the prodigal sons from another land. Homely looks pretty proud of herself. I would be worried, but I'm still mulling over my plan in my head. It pretty much backfires if even one girl disagrees. Plus, it would ruin the mood if that happens. I'm trying to revise the rules in my head so that I won't end up hated by everyone. Birthday doesn't give me a chance. He's decided we're going to kiss him. Thanks, Birthday. We're going to hold his arms behind him too. Wait a second. Birthday, I was... What? Ooh, that means we can do whatever we want, huh? Said Glasses. It's like she knows just what to say to egg on the group every time. Everyone's swooning, even me. I don't know if I want to deal with this. I guess it's not that bad. The girls establish a timing system and everything with me just sitting there pondering the glorious events that are about to unfold. Alright girls, lay it on me. How many minutes? 3 minutes each. Ooh, that's double the time I spent with each of them before. No hands under clothes. Anything else is fair game. Oh man, this is a dream come true. Picture perfect anime events unfolding. I'm so ready for this. I'm beyond so ready for this. My mind is racing as I examine each of the women. I know Birthday is probably going to dry hump me to death, but Glasses and Blondie are complete mysteries. And Homely, well, I can close my eyes and pretend it's someone else, I guess. Speaking of Homely, aren't we forgetting something? She reminds us that the shirtless part of the kissing game was still a thing. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Everyone's gonna be in bras. I'm sitting up in my chair, probably wagging my tail, and I have my tongue hanging out like a dog. Birthday catches my eyes and gives me a little wink. She starts first. She doesn't just undress. She kneels down and is on her knees at the base of the chair. This puts her more or less at the same height as me, eye-wise. Eye contact. It doesn't break. I don't even look downwards as she lowers her arms and raises her shirt up. The eye contact breaks as the shirt passes her head. I look down. Glorious, golden bra encased breasts. Always good. She gives her upper torso a firm jiggle back and forth for my amusement before standing back up. Awesome. Homely up next. Glasses gives me a wink this time. What the fuck? I don't understand, but Homely steps in front of the chair. All the girls are obviously curious as to what she's wearing. Homely doesn't want to pull off her shirt directly, though. I guess she's embarrassed. She turns her back to me. I watch as she pulls up the front of her shirt. Nothing is visible, but she seems to pause when it's above her breasts. I can see fabric encasing them, so I might be safe. The girls, however, are giving out gasps and oohs. I'm a tad bit worried. She turns around. She's wearing a lacy brassiere, something you would see in a pinup magazine. It looks hilarious. I haven't seen one of those ever in real life before. It must have been Birthday's mom's or something. And I laugh. I manage to hold in most of it, though. Just get off a ha or two. Wrong move. Homely has the shirt down over her chest in a flash. She just yells out, "Jerk," and stomps away. The other girls are just staring at me. They're angry. I've fucked up. I've really fucked up. I've got to run. I just had a girl take off her shirt to show me something she thought was sexy, and I laughed. Oh god, Anons, never, ever, ever laugh at things attached to females. Never. I'm off the side of the armchair in a flash. Glasses can't even grab me this time. I hit the ground flat and start trying to roll away. They can smell my fear. What was once a disorganized group of females fighting between one another is now an organized pack hunting machine. They're flocking like a murderous murder of murdering crows. I'm tactically rolling away. One of them gets my leg. I'm clawing at the carpet. The last thing I see is Blondie coming at me with a pillow. I knew it would end this way. Well, that's the last thing I see before I kick off whoever has my leg and bolt out of there. Back around the corner, through the kitchen, bathroom again, and lock the door. They're banging on it again, probably 2 battering rams. Time traveling Anons? Please send help. Well, actually don't. I yell out past the door, "Quiet down, I'm taking a piss." But they don't quiet down. Please, don't send help though, it'd be embarrassing. I finish up, wash my hands, etc. Unlock the door and walk out again. I get battered with various pillows and punched in the arms a couple times. Homely is back, with her shirt on and an obvious hurt look on her face. She doesn't seem to be emotionally traumatized though. My experiences in dealing with Raven seem to be non-indicative of what actual girls think. She's not giving me a chance to recover though. She personally punches me hard in the shoulder. I take it like a man, which means I wince and grab it with my other arm because it actually hurt. I don't ever understand why we grab things that hurt, but I did. She's not too mad though. I should probably be worried. Homely walks up to me. I back up, but she follows. She's got some look on her face that I can't read at all. It's probably because I spend absolutely no time reading her face. She's actually forcing me against the wall now. Her closed breasts are pressing against me, and I realize she's back to not wearing any bra at all. They're lovely and soft, though. I can feel them change shape as she presses harder and harder against me. She makes like she's going to kiss me. She brings her face actual inches in front of mine. Her eyes are sultry, like she's been craving a delicious piece of cake all day and she's going to bite into it. Her lips are full, soft, and round. They're so tantalizing. Would you blame me if I tried to lean forward right now and connect? Well, I do. Except she's got her hands on my shoulders, and I can't move. I've been tricked. This movement on my end seems to be exactly what she was waiting for. She breaks off her advance and moves back. Her eyes break contact when she gets a foot away from me. She almost instantly turns around and squeals, "You see? I told you it was me!" Hey, wait a second, that's not how this Plus, he likes these better like this. She's got both her hands on her breasts and jiggling them up and down individually. The other girls are looking on in shame. Blondie looks like she's taking it the worst. Glasses knows this is probably all her fault. It is her fault, so fuck her for the time being. Stupid, sexy Homely. Birthday is actually looking worried. Homely infringing upon her territory. Again, I guess Homely saw Birthday as the main threat in competition. She was trying to do the birthday girl thing and go full aggressive. This makes sense when they've been directly competing this entire time. Homely's not playing this straight though. She backs up, wiggles her upper torso and exclaims, "Well, maybe you'd like them better like this." In one sweeping motion, she's got her shirt over her head. Oh, Lord. They're definitely D's. Both of them aren't very firm, but not droopy either. Just well-rounded with a little bit of hang. My male brain has the instant desire to support them. The center of each has a good half-dollar-sized circles of red flesh, topped with a lovely nipple. I'm now in full automatic male brain kicking in. I'm not thinking straight at all. I mean, tits. She's still got her plan in motion, though. She's close to me again. She's actually up against me. I can feel both of her breasts pressing into me. Breasts, when they press against you, end up all over the place. It's really not symmetrical. Her nipples are just the tiniest bit hard. It's really not hard to tell where they're pressing against me. She's back at kissing distance. One tantalizing second. I look up from her lips at her eyes. And now she's off of me. No kiss. Wait a second. Did I actually want Homely to kiss me? I'm so confused. My boner is confused. Multiple other body parts are confused as well. My hand is still hovering where I would be holding her. My crotch is still leaning forward slightly, anticipating the kiss. I'm still making kissing lips. She's not, though. She's facing me from across the hallway and has nothing but a look of contempt on her face. "What? You wanted a kiss? Too bad, jerk." She enunciates every syllable with a scowl. With that, she turns away, taking her breasts with her, and waltzes down the hallway, whistling and swinging her top in one hand. Holy shit. Payback like a sack of bricks to the face. Homely wins this round. I'm still standing there, dumb as balls expression on my face. Blondie is first to act. She walks up and slaps me. It's not really a slap though. She takes her hand and brings it up against my right cheek. Hits me rather softly. "Idiot," she whispers as she draws her hand across the front of my face and walks down the hallway. Glasses is generally amused. I get a curt, "You deserved it," as she walks off in the same direction as Blondie. I resist the urge to yell, "Fuck you too, Glasses," down the hallway. Birthday is still standing there with her eyes turned downcast. I'm about to ask what's wrong, right as she looks up at me. There's a look of rabid determination in her eyes. Each muscle around her eye is scrunched up. Her mouth is prim and an absolute straight line. I'm formulating apologies in my head. I've hurt her badly. Or she's got my murder planned. Is she jealous? Is she angry? I can't tell. I don't need to tell. I see her bite her lip for just a second. She's suddenly in the air. She tackles me against the wall. I don't hit my head somehow. I realize she's put her hand behind my head so it hits the wall and softens the blow to not hurt. I'm going to have to remember that trick for later. But my learning is interrupted by her hot lips upon mine. No foreplay, all tongue. Same flavor as before, but lighter. And I'm not complaining. She's trying her hardest to press me against the wall as much as possible. She has one arm behind my lower back and another behind my head. She's got both of her breasts pressed against me. Actually, so much pressure they're spilling upwards out of her bra. I realize my hands are still outstretched in the trying to kiss Homely position. I rectify that and place them on her back, the warm, bare flesh of her lower back. She seems to have other plans, though. She pulls back and shoves me through the bathroom door backwards. I manage 4 surprise steps backwards before I stumble and land on my behind. It's far enough, though. She is in the bathroom with me. The door is closed. The door is locked. She gives me a sultry smile. That's better. Those words are purred like a content lioness. Her hands reach behind her. I can tell what she's doing. It's obvious what she's doing, but I'm still looking at her face. Something's wrong. It's her eyes. She's purring like a lioness, but her eyes, they're saying nothing of the sort. They're like a lost little kitten. They're screaming, accept me. Her hands finish. The bra goes slack. I watch in slow motion as she hunches her shoulders forward and the entire thing just slides off. Her words and actions scream confidence, but she's still holding the bra in both hands where it fell. It's almost defensive. Her body language screams embarrassment with the tiniest bit of fear. I think she's scared I'll reject her. Valid fears for anyone in that situation, I guess. I'm still on my butt, on the ground, looking up. There's tits, and I'm looking. Smaller than Homely's. Large C's. Her areola and nipples are smaller too. Just enough to notice a difference, but instead of red, they're light pink. She's absolutely ravishing. I'm not sure where to look because the entire package is so enticing. She's standing with her arms still held forward and together by holding the bra, one leg slightly ahead of the other under her long skirt. To top it off, the expression in her eyes has leaked slightly and her face is backing it up. The position itself is rivaled as some of the best modeling you'll ever see, the emotions passing it far beyond anything comparable. I don't get to stare very long though. She takes a step forward and blurts out, "Tell me I'm better!" It's definitely not confident. It's like a desperate plea. I'm, of course, more than happy to blurt out, "Yes, but I'm interrupted by the sound of being pounced on and kissed again. I'm not knocked backwards, though. She lightly forces more and more of her weight against me until I slowly reel backwards and lie down. I've got her full chest against mine, and her nipples were very hard, almost painfully hard. But psychologically, the feel of her nipples pressing against you is awesome. I didn't get any victory music, though. I'm too busy being kissed. She's got me pinned against the door. One of her legs is snaked around mine. That feels goddamn amazing, by the way, and I can't move. I don't want to move. Well, I guess I can move my hands. I take advantage of this and wrap one around and place it on her lower back. But I have 2 hands. I take the chance and place my other right on her right butt cheek. She doesn't seem to notice, or if she does, she doesn't care. Hell yeah. She's moving her entire body against me. She's got one of her legs folded up underneath her. This puts her knee right against my crotch. Not in a painful way, though. It's like it's just there to provide the right amount of pressure and friction. Her breasts are rubbing up and down ever so slightly every time she applies pressure with her knee. Her kiss is involving our entire faces now. We have our mouths wide open, chasing down one another like we're trying to eat the other participant. Each time we catch the other, it just ends in a stalemate as we go back to tongue play. I'm not sure if this is how kisses work. Huge, slobbery messes, but it's actually pretty fucking fun. I take a chance between kisses and slip my hand under her skirt. It ends up on her left panty-clad butt cheek. It's much hotter under the skirt, and her panties are made out of some soft, silky material. This just kind of slides my hand around, and I don't have a firm purchase, but it's amazing. I don't know if you've ever touched women's underwear, but somehow it's like 70 times nicer than men's in terms of fabric quality. It's gotta be something to do with how thin the material usually is. I've got my other hand slowly working under her skirt as well, but it's slow progress because I have to stop it whenever it is and hold her tightly every time we play the chasing game. The hand starts on her bare lower back, pauses temporarily on the mountains of her upper tushy, enjoys an afternoon stroll across her clothed upper thigh, uses the skirt as shade, and hides from the hot summer sun on her lower thigh. Eventually, Miss Surehan makes his way up the bare upper thigh. He's on tiptoes now, sneaking ever closer to his goal. He's on edge. He knows he might be caught at any moment. With relish, he reaches the goal he's been traveling for. With one movement, I clasp my hands softly over the entire crevice of her pantied crotch, from her butt to where my fingers are pressing lightly right below her lower navel. She freezes, an odd look on her face as she sits up slightly. She doesn't remove my hand, though. Her legs squish together as she changes position, and I find myself happily stuck there, one hand on her behind, one hand on her hinds. The only real sensation I can feel is heat emanating off of where Mr. Righty is visiting. Birthday finally speaks. So what? I'm thinking in my head. I'm not sure this is what I should be saying right then, though. My brain wasn't exactly working at full steam. Or half steam, or any steam. It might have been empty. It must have been empty because I simply repeat, so, and look at her questioningly. Her confidence is back, and she doesn't look as fragile anymore, but I know it's probably all there if I poke the wrong spot. So, am I better? Holy shit. That's what this was about, wasn't it? I'd completely forgot. Of course you're fucking better, woman. I would have just told you if you asked me. Not that I mind how you asked, of course. In retrospect, this would have probably been the proper response. Instead, I try to be suave and say, cool. Yeah. I'm cringing too. You had to ask, was my ill-thought-out response. To make it worse, I punctuated this with a wiggle of my fingers right where she could feel them. This seemed like a good idea at the time. Her funny look doesn't stop. It doesn't change to hurt or sadness or happiness. It's just kind of confused. I can almost see her changing slowly from loved to unwanted in her eyes. My brain isn't working correctly because she's still got her knee pressed firmly up against my hardness, but I can tell she's not liking this answer. I dimly realize I probably just made it about sex and not her. I'd given the equivalent to the after-romp question of, was it as good for you as it was for me? Don't ever do that, Anons. I rack my mind and blurt out an answer I think will soothe it over. Yes, that does it. Her entire posture softens. Her upper body relaxes. Her chest sinks an entire inch and brings her beautiful breasts along with it. Her eyes are back to smiling. I retreat to my older thoughts of, I would have just fucking told you, woman. I say some of these words. Looks like I'm not fucked. I'm just looking at her expectantly. I'm pretty sure I had a pleading look all over my face. Please insert another coin to continue. Please. She repositions her knee. It's no longer pressing firmly against me. Instead, it's on the other side of my leg. This opens up her crotch and lets my hand breathe again. She's just kneeling above me, topless. Both of her legs straddling me. Both of my hands under her skirt. One on her left butt cheek. One placed flatly across her panty-covered most private place. She's not moving. She's got a kind of quizzical smiling face on, like she's deciding if she wants to do something or not. I take the chance. Might as well. I take the hand I have on her crotch and place a firm amount of pressure with my middle finger right into her pubic bone. I just watch her face as I slide it down, inch by inch, across her panties, where her slit starts. She's got a look of focus on her face as if she's concentrating on something. Halfway down, she strains a tiny amount and bites her lower lip. Bottom of the curve, no movement in her face. Still the same focused concentration. I round out the last bit with the lightest caress of what I could only assume was her rear, before I moved my hand to the back of her thigh. Her look softens, then hardens again. She seems to have made a decision. Thanks for picking me. She leans over and picks up the bra where she left it and begins putting it back on. A million things are going through my head. She definitely thinks that she is for sure the one I picked during the kissing game. I mean, the whole point was to give everyone enough clues to think it was them, but now she really thinks it's her. I'm not sure where my opinions lie on this. She's got her bra back on though, hidden the precious things from sight while I think about what she just said. Still have my hands on her glorious ass though. Ain't taking this away from me. She stands up. She's taking this away from me. I see a hand hovering in my vision. Oh, I guess I should take this. I'm hauled to my feet. Still have a boner of a million armies. It's not stopping here. Fuck that. I wrap my arms around her, pinning one of her arms to the side and the other between me and her. I lean in for a kiss. I close my eyes. I meet her finger and I open my eyes, a single finger separating my lips from hers. She's giving me another quizzical look, but it's softer and it's almost saying, I'm sorry. I have absolutely no clue what she's thinking, but I was just kiss-blocked by a finger. She lets loose a whisper of, not now. Her breath is hot and cascades across the features of my face. It feels lovely, but... I let go. She backs up and straightens up. She points at the sink. We're both kinda covered in slobber, I guess. It's not a very cheery time. We both kind of just solemnly clean ourselves up and wipe away any traces of what happened here. It's much easier since we don't have shirts on. We finish cleaning up and I just get another sad, apologetic look from her. I don't know what I could have possibly done to deserve that look. It must be something she doesn't want to tell me. Maybe she's afraid of being caught by everyone else. Or something else, even simpler. Caught. Oh right, we should probably not exit the bathroom together. I offer to go first and just duck into the guest room and wait out her reintroducing herself into the crowd for a while. I do just that. I close the door behind me. The room is a darker and much quieter, stark contrast to the rest of the house. I guess the girls were back in the living room playing video games from what it sounded like. I turn away from the door and glance over at Raven. She somehow shoved all the pillows all over the place and is lying on her back. I remember this is a bad thing. I walk over and sit on the bed. Half her torso is sticking out and looks like she's half tangled in the blankets. I think one of her feet is even hanging off the edge under the covers. She seems to be sleeping happily, unaware of this though. Silly girl. I slightly chuckled to myself, comparing her chest to the two that I had just shoved in my face. Still, small has its merits, and I shove this thought from my mind as I roll her over. A little bit of repositioning later, I've got her back on her side and wrapped up properly. Even got her arms around that hugging pillow. Her chin is resting on the corner of it softly. She has no fucking clue, but she's winning major cuteness points in her sleep. Fucking adorable. I hear the door click though, and I'm brought back quickly out of my dawing. I turn around to find Glasses closing the door behind her. She turns around and seems completely surprised to see me. I mumble something like, she was just sprawled. I put her back on her side. She doesn't seem to say anything, just gives me a kind of half nod. I guess that was a good enough excuse to have been gone for all this time and have found in the room, with an unconscious, half-naked girl in it. I hoped Glasses trusted me at this point, because I sure felt like she did. She turns towards the door and starts to leave. I stop her. Glasses? This is just her full name. Are you mad at me from earlier? She doesn't turn around. We're both just standing there silently for a bit. Longer than a bit. It's maybe 20 seconds with neither of us saying anything. Eventually, she turns around. She turns with one leg, the other just remains stationary. It's more of a pivot. She's smiling, though. The light, it's kinda bad, but from the distance, I think I see a wet spot between her nose and cheek. I wonder if she was crying, but I'm interrupted by her chosen statement of no. This is just a harsh, flat word in my ears. I'm crestfallen. I know that means way more than she's saying. I'm mulling this over, what her real opinions are on the subject for about a third of a second before she continues. Because you chose to kiss me first. She's out the door less than 2 seconds after she says that. Oh, man. Holy shit, Glasses. Thank you. Those words were like angels singing. Things not fucked up with Glasses. Things not fucked up with Birthday. Fuck Homely. The only person left to smooth things out with is Blondie. 3 out of the 4 girls somehow weren't angry at me over what I had done in the last 30 minutes. All I had to do was smooth it out with Blondie, and we would all be on better than good terms. Better than good because I've treated them all specifically individually or in their own mind compared to the others. I'm praising the miracle sent down from the benevolent Sleepover god. I've somehow been able to navigate this raging river with minefield rapids of a situation with ease. Somewhere up above, the Sleepover god smiles, for he sees the waterfall up ahead. I had half a mind to just walk right into the living room, sweep Blondie off her feet and carry her away like a damsel. In my mind, that sounded like a great idea, but in my mind, that also sounded like the worst fucking idea possible. Issues and problems that could arise start flooding my brain. The other girls would see. She might not want to come. I really didn't know how angry Blondie was either. She could just be unwilling to come completely. If she resists, it's just a huge mess. Plus, what if I can't pick her up properly, or I drop her or something? Oh no, I've unleashed a stream of doubts. Here they come. What if I slip and fall? What if someone else stops me? What if she's actually heavier than she looks and I'm not strong enough? What if I take too long and it looks awkward trying to do it? What if I pussy out at the last second? What if she doesn't like me at all anymore? I'm now standing motionless in the hallway, slowly being crushed by self-pity and doubt. I'm just shrinking smaller and smaller with every what if. I just stop. All my best laid alpha plans crush before they even begin. I end up half trudging and half scuffling my feet into the living room. I'm pretty self-depreciated. I've somehow made myself doubt everything without even any reason behind it. Fuck you, brain. I just kind of sadly shuffle in. Birthday sees and gets a frown for about half a second. At first, I think she must think I'm in a shit mood because of what we did or something, which would make no sense, but I figure it could be on her mind. Her eyes aren't sad, though, so she must be thinking something else. Maybe that I'm just pretending to be sad so nobody catches on to what we did. Yeah, I guess we can pretend that's what I'm doing. So me, and my brilliant plan to walk in and seem in a bad mood to throw all the other girls off the trail is going great. Well, except Glasses has no clue why I'm acting sad, but she's got the same kind of look as Birthday. Maybe she just thinks I'm sad about Raven or something. It's odd that seems to be such a good excuse for so many things, even though I'm not thinking it myself. I can't pretend to know what's going on in Glasses' head, really, but I seem to be alright in her eyes, so I end up plopping down right next to her. The video game of choice seems to be Symphonia again. 4-player, everyone has a controller but me. I'm alright with this. I was JRPG'd out for the day. Blondie is way on the other side of the couch and leaning all over the armrest with birthday and glasses between me and her. Everyone is still shirtless, except Homely, who's chilling in the armchair to the side. She's got her t-shirt back on. It's not like it's hiding too much, though. Her chest still moves anytime she does anything. When she catches me looking at her, she pokes her tongue out a little bit and makes a teasy kind of "nyah" face. I haven't seen anyone make that kind of face since I had to rescue all the dragon eggs, but I mean, that's what it was. If I start chasing her, charging around head first, someone stop me. I figured there's no way I'm getting close to Blondie's feet again, so that path is closed off. Maybe if I could figure out how to send smoke signals to Birthday, so I could get her to swap places with me, but I'm on thin ice making sure she thinks she's special, so I better not. The armchair of the couch is out of the question since Blondie is all over it somehow. I don't even understand how it was comfy, but she was relaxing on it sideways and chest first like some kind of big cat. Hands held out in front of her, away from the couch entirely as she concentrated on the screen. I can't even do justice of how awkward it looked, but she seemed to be having a good time, so who was I to judge? I, sadly, didn't have any avenue of getting to and addressing her current mood towards me, though, so I just have to sit silently where I am and watch the game. My thoughts don't linger on Blondie for very long. I can't really do anything about her at the moment, and I don't even know if she's angry at me or not. I am, however, sitting next to the prime culprit of most of my video game related suffering in the last 2 days. Glasses. Time for some fucking payback. I drop my "it'll all fuck up if I try" mood and just put my left arm halfway around her waist. Everything goes wrong. But it doesn't. She doesn't say a word. My arm is properly hidden from view by everyone and my palm is just lightly resting on her bare skin. The only way anyone would notice where my hand is would be if Birthday turns completely around. From my seat, I have complete reign over the entire right half of Glass's body. As long as I don't do anything too obvious, of course. What does any male do when he's got free reign of a woman's body? There's only one answer. Tickling. But not just any tickling. I pull my hand back and take a single finger and place it softly along her spine. Without lifting it, I just slowly trace it in small circles. I did this while gently moving it across the entire expanse of skin presented to me. I wasn't trying to tickle her yet. I had to find out where she was ticklish. I intentionally scooted closer to her and watched her facial expressions, listened to her breathing. I was moving my finger just slowly enough that when I reached something ticklish, I could notice all the changes in her body language. Her look of concentration at playing Vidya would soften into tiny, tiny smiles. She would take a short breath, one that didn't match the rhythm of her normal breathing pattern. Depending on where I was touching on her lower back, she might tense up or relax. Human bodies are like instruments. I could sit there for years eliciting little sighs, gasps, muscle contractions, and other reactions from a girl's. The sounds they make are like music. The movements are like the vibrations of a string instrument. It's beyond entertaining. I roamed these expanses of flesh for what could only have been hours, but was just maybe a couple of minutes. I think I was doing an awful job of tickling her and just got distracted. I think I might be really bad at this tormenting thing. Whatever I was doing, after a couple of minutes of it, I had most of her ticklish areas worked out. She was extremely ticklish along her lower spine, right where the skin almost vanished into the unattainable reaches of her pants. She wasn't very ticklish anywhere else besides her sides, which are ticklish unlike everyone anyways. I had even roamed my hands along her upper back to where her bra strap was. Yes, the idea to unhook it crossed my mind multiple times, but we knew better. I still hadn't actually tickled her yet, but that was the point, wasn't it? For the most part of her body language, she wasn't shying away from my touches. She wasn't having trouble surviving on the game. She wasn't giving me any looks of any sort. I would say she was enjoying it so far, but I had plans to fix that. Now, let me tell you anons about tickling. Tickling is a science. An absolute masterful talent to have. It takes two things. Well, number one, your hands. Number two, someone else. Face it, we all know how to tickle people. Throw hands at the other person, laughing ensues, but I didn't want her laughing. I wanted her almost laughing. That painful feeling where you're trying to suppress giggles and every single one threatens to come out. Not many people know how to play this tickling game. I knew Glasses was enjoying my hands. I knew she didn't want them to stop, and I knew she didn't want the girls to know I was playing with her on the couch. I knew far too much for her own good. I placed my hand right back on her spine, one finger touching. Now, there's a secret to tickling, and that's really something you learn from experience. The more points of contact you have, the more likely they'll laugh. Even if you're a bumbling fool, 5 fingers will get any human giggling, as long as they're ticklish. But that's the brute method. I was going to start easy on her. I was starting with 2. I placed my ring finger slightly higher up on her back, and I traced a circle. That's the other secret. Fitting contact will make them laugh easily, but soft, solid contact almost never will. Then I lightly lifted them both off of her skin, placed them lower again, and did it again. Every time I did this, my fingers would end up upside down, so to move them, I would move my fingernails softly across her back. This was the part that was getting her. The hard surfaces of my fingernails were making her inhale off rhythm each time, and that muscle tensing, relaxing I was talking about earlier, she stopped that relaxing bit. As I repeated this, lower and lower, her face took on a grin, the side facing me, even showing the tiniest bit of teeth. It didn't take me long at all to reach the waistband of her pants, a disgusting, artificial barrier to my fun. Such is life. With an internal sigh, I simply took my fingers and formed a bit of a claw, reached as far around her waist as I felt was safe from prying eyes, and placed them back, one after another, right where her skin met clothing again, and scratched her, slowly, smoothly, the entire way back to me again, not too hard and not too soft, enough to leave the faintest of red markings where my fingernails had passed. Her reaction to this was instantaneous. She straightened up. Her posture went from slouching to straight up and down. This had the side effect of thrusting her chest upwards quite a bit, assets that I was not morally against observing during this process. Her breath slowed entirely, even stopping compared to what it had been before. Her stomach pulled in taut. Her eyes widened. Her smile dropped to a straight line. She even uncrossed her legs. Let's just say that I was glad nobody else was watching her when I did this. I was enjoying myself immensely, though. I hadn't realized that simple finger caresses could have this much of an effect on a girl. I was kind of jealous. But it was time to make her suffer. Her performance in the game wasn't doing too hot, but she was still functioning more or less, enough to not matter. She hadn't let me play video games, though. That was reprehensible. She would atone for those sins. I would make sure of it. This time, I moved my hand back up her spine, starting higher this time. I couldn't help but notice that her skin felt hotter, warmer to the touch than it did earlier. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe not. I pushed the idea out of my head, because it was time for 3 fingers. Because the pointer, index, and ring on my hand were not all close to the same length, touching all 3 of them and drawing circles was impossible. I figured this out after 2 or 3 awkward attempts. I was not as smooth as I'm making myself sound. Trust me. Anatomy failing me in my time of need. But remember, Anons, you don't have to be a Casanova with your fingers. Even if your fingers are literally tripping over one another, it feels nice. Physical, skin-to-skin contact just feels nice. No issue. I could improvise. I placed my middle and pointer fingers side by side, a decent distance apart, and my ring finger lightly resting a tad bit further away. Then I twisted my entire hand slowly. The index and pointer swapped position. The ring traced an extremely light semicircle around the outside of this smaller circle. It wasn't very firm, so the ring finger lightly brushed her only every couple of centimeters, and she tensed again. Her grin was back. I moved lower to do it again, a wider grin and a small exhale halfway through. I was getting to her. I slide my hand lower and lightly trickle my fingers across the spine as I go. She's giving tiny little amounts of air out the side of her mouth every time one of my fingers touch. I place my fingers in position again. I rotate my hand. She gives what can only be described as half a giggle, quite loud too. A couple of the other girls look at her surprised. Glasses plays it off like it was a cough. She's got one of her hands off the controller and up to her mouth. How suave. I guess I went the tiniest bit too far, but I know her edge now. I'm relentless. For a full 10 minutes, I barely tickle her. The lightest finger caresses in the smallest, smoothest circles. She's still stifling gasps the entire time. Her grin is just there to disguise the copious amounts of air she's exhaling every time I hit the right spot. Even her upper chest is fluttering, expanding and contracting with each microscopic giggle. Her performance in the game can only be described as awful. She's dying left and right. She's not getting the rights hit off, and she's in absolute vidya hell, just where she had me earlier. Luckily for her, she wasn't too essential to the fights, and the rest of the girls were rolling through and reviving her when she died. But she's sending little pleading looks at me now. She knows what's coming up. A boss. I stop. Just hold my hand lower on her spine than I had done circles with 3 fingers yet. I wait for her to be important. I know she's got a job to do this fight. Seconds before she has to engage one of the enemies alone, I twist my hand. She lets out a breathy squeak and completely loses concentration. I don't end there though. With my other hand, I flip the waistband of her pants down, exposing another half-inch of unexplored skin. I make a claw again and run 3 nails in a very firm scratch along this newly exposed line. She's dead. No amount of concentration was going to save her from the tensing and suppressed giggling I was causing. She falls back against my hand and drops her controller. She's lying with her back against the couch pillow. First time she's really been able to relax since I've started touching her. She's breathing softly and smoothly and staring right at me. Her eyes might be saying, "Ravish me" or "Take me now," but I'm pretty sure they aren't. To my careful eye observations, it looks like, "That was mean." Yeah, I know. Those looks can be confusing. Well, I'll show you mean. She's lying back so her entire chest and stomach are exposed. You know what this means. Raspberry. Any excuse to get your lips on exposed skin, I guess. I bend down and place my lips right on the skin above her belly button, and I blow like a goddamn blue whale coming up for air. The sound of my lips slapping against her stomach, the typical, raspberry sounds. Those were the only 2 sounds in the room, until she started laughing. The longer she did it, the more she squirmed. She was trying to turn left and right, but I had her held down right where I wanted her and I wouldn't let her go. Her stomach was flexing back and forth. Her arms were flailing, trying to get me off as she giggled and laughed for a full 15 seconds. She didn't even stop laughing after I ran out of air. Job well done, men. I returned to my upright seated position. Her face is an absolute look of mirth. Every muscle on her face is really smiling or giggling or trying to stop giggling. Her chest is heaving, taking her twin beauties up and down with it. She's still even squirming a little bit, her legs rubbing together slightly. 10 out of 10, perfect, laughing angel. I'm pretty content with my revenge. I look away from her. Nobody else is content with my revenge. Everyone's dead to the boss. The game over screen is just sitting there. Blondie, Homely, and Birthday are just staring at me like I just showed up and did something horrible. Kind of that look you have on your face when the girl you like is hanging out with you and your friends and she just pounces on another guy and starts having a tickle fight with him. No, I'm not doing this again. Fuck you, mouth. We're using words this time. Don't look at me like that. She deserved it and she knew it. I put an emphasis on knew it. I wanted to make sure Glasses knew why she was just brutally tortured. The girls didn't seem to be convinced. Alright, plan B. Who wants to be next? I put my patented serial killer evil grin on, but I put both my hands and start waggling my fingers like some murderous tickle monster. That did it. Birthday, who's the next closest, shrieks, the only appropriate response, and I crawl over Glasses at her. I end up chasing her laughing face halfway across the couch before I pin her down and proceed to tickle her. She's face up, so I manage to pin her down and straddle her. This means I get to tickle everything in reach. My hands roam the mountains of her ribs, explore the cave of her belly button, tastefully tease the lower reaches of her navel, even climb the lowest foothills of the breasts. Still a laughing mess, which is exactly the point. She's shifting from side to side, moving quickly up and down beneath me. I've got her laughing just as hard, if not harder than Glasses was, but I know how the best laid tickle fights end, so I stop after a good 20 seconds. Birthday is all smiles though. I'm just clapping myself on the back for successfully turning this into a tickle fight. Tickle fights are the best. Now, who's next? I look at the armchair of the couch and see Blondie watching with a mixture of curiosity and something else in her eyes. Perfect. I telegraph my actions perfectly. I rear up with my hands back into tickling formation. I lunge at Blondie's delicious stomach, hands outstretched. Don't! She hadn't just made a playful statement. It was absolutely stone cold serious. The icy emphasis on these words was devoid of all emotions besides that little amount of timbre that lets you know you should really listen. Birthday had been giggling and shouting various things like no and stop when I was chasing her, but the tone of those was different. These were empty, meant to convey the fun of chasing one another, but that single word seemed to leach all the warmth and fun out of the room. Even some basic aspects of physics ceased to function as conservation of momentum was no longer a thing, and I fell flat on my face back to the couch. Really, since leaping and pouncing never actually works like it does in anime, I wasn't even in the air. I had a knee on the couch and was just frozen in place. I get back up and look at her with a healthy helping of confusion, maybe some beans on the side. She wasn't even looking at me, still staring straight forward, draped over the side of the couch's arm. She had her full attention on the television screen. She was the only girl still holding her controller. Even Homely was halfway to getting up and trying to join in when the room froze. It was like even the lighting had changed, from the warm afternoon glow of the sun to a shallower, cold white, like a cloud had passed overhead. I suddenly realized how cold the room was without my shirt on. I guess tickling was over. I guess fun was over. Fuck, why is it so cold in here? I'm now sitting up and staring at Blondie's back as she's trying not to meet my eyes. I try to rhyme my way forwards and meet her eyes and ask what's wrong. She just stops moving for a second, and her head pivots around slowly. It's like some kind of terrifying child's doll. I don't even wait to see what her face is going to look like. I'm fucking off that couch, halfway across the room. I'll go get some snacks or something. Fucking gone, man. I arrive in the kitchen. It's much warmer in here. That terrifies me that this is still the first thing I notice. I rummage around in the cabinets and find a bag of something crunchy, and I start going for one of the lower cabinets to find a bowl. I figure maybe food is what we all need to settle that mood in there, since I really don't know what just happened. While I'm kneeling, I find there's actually quite a bit of mayo that's spilled down here, along with part of a tomato. I consider cleaning it up myself, but I'm contemplating pulling one of the girls in here for company while I prepare drinks too. Birthday would be welcome company. She knows where everything is anyways. I yell out across the house, "There's some mayo and tomatoes spilled in here. Someone missed a spot." I finally find a bowl and stand up to place it on the counter along with the chips. I freeze halfway. The room is icy. The light is cold. It's absolutely astounding how one person can change the perceived atmosphere of a place. Humans are such perceptive creatures that even subtle body language can make you feel physical sensations or draw you from one mood to the next. Blondie was standing in the door. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't frowning. Her eyes were scowling, maybe burning at me. Her eyebrows furrowed, but her mouth was straight, serious. Where? That one word sent chills through me. What in Odin's name had I done to her? I just kind of place the bowl on the counter and point towards the counter where the mess was. She glides over like a ghost. I could swear, if I didn't see her hips swaying lightly, I wouldn't know she was moving behind the island in the middle of the kitchen. I try to avoid eye contact. If I catch her gaze, I know I'm going to have to start making will-saving throws. I just busy myself with arranging cups on the island and getting out another 2 liters of soda that's in the fridge. It's been like 3 or 4 minutes of me getting food ready, and I turn around to find Blondie still wiping at the same spot in the corner with a paper towel. I'm really worried about her, but I don't say anything. I just continue fixing the drinks. She's still back there though, and I'm getting chills up and down my spine. Not just my spine. The hair on the back of my legs is standing up every time I turn away from her. I finish up moving and arranging everything I possibly could use my time for. I'm dreading this moment. I turn around. She's still rubbing the area in small circles. She's crouched, facing away from me. I step behind her and kneel down and place my hand on her shoulder. Blondie? She's standing up. She's turning around. Nope, .webm. Why didn't I remember last time I did this? It's too late. She's turned around. You know that face that women make in anime when they have this shadow over the entire thing and you can see it? That's what I saw. She had her head tilted downwards, and the lights in the room just didn't hit her where I was trying to look because her hair was in the way. I would be terrified, but I can't be, because she shoves me. The accompanying shout could rouse entire nations. I don't doubt everyone in every other room could hear it as clear as if they were right beside of her. Get your hand off me! Now getting shoved is no big deal. She obviously didn't like the hand on her shoulder, and I'd fucked up in even attempting to be a caring, worrying human about her wiping up mayo spill for 6 minutes straight. The issue was not that I was shoved, or that she had yelled and everyone had heard it. The issue was that what I was shoved towards. Remember how I said there was an island in the middle of the kitchen? Well, that island was square. It had lovely wooden corners, just like the rest of the kitchen finishings. One of those corners was right at the height of the small of my back. Now, as many Anons might know, there's some things in your back that really are important. One of those things is a bundle of nerves called celiac plexus. Now, what happens when you hit this bundle of nerves is a bunch of really fun things. Depending on how hard you hit it, various things can happen. Temporary paralysis of the diaphragm, minor loss of limb function, excruciating pain, cascading serious effects throughout the majority of your nervous system, disruption of organ function, and, in rare cases, death. Now, I got the fun mixture of these. I hit my back on this corner. It wedged itself right into the crevice beside my spine, and a couple of things happened. Firstly, I could see Blondie's face again. She was angry. When I say fire was in her eyes, I mean her eyebrows were getting singed. Her face was contorted into a mixture of pure rage and what I can only assume is true heartbreak. I was impressed I was able to read all these emotions and feeling, though, because colors changed. Everything in the room got brighter. Way brighter. We're talking luminosity settings and Photoshop bright. She was still yelling, but everything around her was glowing. I couldn't hear a word either. Nothing was coming out of her mouth. I tried to focus on what she was saying, but that was when I realized why everything was blindingly bright. The pain. For whatever reason, I'm now feeling the equivalent of being kicked in the balls earlier multiplied by 10. Across my entire spinal column, every radiant nerve cluster I can imagine was close. There is no proper way to describe pain like this. If you could imagine burning hot coals across every inch of skin of your back with a pool of molten lead burning through your liver, that's as close as I can ever imagine. Just know that when I felt it, I didn't just freeze up. I fucking collapsed. I was on the floor, hands and knees in the most agony I've ever experienced in my life. But it gets better. I'm on my hands and knees in the kitchen. I'm suffering a fucking 20 in the 1 to 10 pain scale. I can hear Blondie yelling. Words are getting through. Birthday. Bathroom. Better. But you know what? I don't care right now. I really don't care. I'm going to cry. I try to cry, but I can't. Great. Just great. What's fucking wrong now? Tears are streaming down my face. I can see them dripping off my nose, but I can't make a sound. I want to be bawling like a fucking newborn baby. My mouth is open, but no sounds come out. It's like I'm in a nightmare. Some horrible nightmare where you try to scream and you can't. I'm in some nightmare where I'm watching the most terrible, destructive monster just slowly inch towards my friend, and I can't even warn them. But this is real. Blondie is still screaming profanities at me from my right. I still can't make out a single sound, though. I'm just hanging my head, mouth wide open and staring through the floor, like I want to scream. Everything burns. The pain in my back is still pushing and throbbing like it's a wound being constantly reopened by razor blades. My chest is burning just as badly. I don't understand. It didn't hit my chest, but it's still burning, more and more, every second. I try to take a breath, but I can't. What do you mean, I can't? Have you ever had the wind knocked out of you, Anons? It's a blow to the same bundle of nerves, although many times far less direct and far less intense. For those of you who haven't, take a breath in, then out. And notice how you can control how your chest does that in and out thing. Now, imagine if you try to take a breath and nothing happened. Nothing you can do to make your chest move works. Imagine suffocating on dry land. Welcome to that moment, Anons. If you want, you can hold your breath and see how long you can make it. Now, I'd just taken a serious, hard, direct hit to this bundle of nerves. My diaphragm was paralyzed. It had been a minute, maybe 2. I hadn't had a single breath. I couldn't scream, I couldn't cry, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't beg Blondie for help. Everything was burning. My chest was the worst part. My heart was beating 1,000 miles a minute, which means I was using up oxygen far too quickly to be holding my breath for this long. Have you ever experienced suffocation, Anons? This is not a sensation that I assume is very common, or even relatable on any kind of real level because of how extreme it is, but I'll try to explain it anyways. Hold your breath as long as you can. First, you'll feel a pressure in your lungs, a slight burning in your throat and upper mouth. Then, the burning moves lower. A heat spreads throughout your torso. Eventually, the burning and pressure gets so hot that your eyes start to water. It's at this point that every single one of you will take a breath. It's instinct. This will happen even if you're underwater, filling your lungs and burning your insides with the liquid. Now, if you're not underwater, the pressure just gets bigger and bigger until you're screaming on the inside to breathe. Your vision begins swimming, your eyes lose focus. The pressure is like a 40-pound weight upon your chest, and it hurts. It hurts like nothing you would ever believe. Suffocation is known to be one of the most painful ways to die. There is a level of helplessness there that is absolutely mystifying and terrifying at the same time. I was so close to everything. Air was right in front of me. If only I could make my lungs work. And if I could say, I can't breathe, Blondie would have stopped yelling to help me no matter how angry she was. Anyone would have. Any fucking one of you would have helped if you had known. It's the most crushing helplessness I've ever felt. If I could have even thought of what to do in that situation, it would have helped. But I couldn't think. Too much pain. Everything hurt and I couldn't see straight. White spots were popping up in my vision. That's indicative of cells in your eyes not getting enough oxygen. I had to do something. Every muscle in my body was burning. The pain from my back was like single coal in an ocean of suns. I could still use my arms though, so I did the only thing I could think of. I dropped my left arm. I fell, hit my shoulder hard, full weight of my body and gravity. I didn't feel a thing. I gave the best shove I could with my right arm. This was maybe a second of movement. It's all I had in me. My back hits the tiles hard, and I don't feel a thing. I see the blurry figures standing by the fridge. I can't tell who they are. I end up, more or less, on my back with my lower torso twisted. It's enough. I throw my arms up and onto my chest. I really can't feel anything anymore. It's just burning. I try to press down as hard as I can and force my lungs to contract, but I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. Try it, Anons. You just can't. I give 3 attempts before I can even feel my arms anymore. As in, I can't move them. It was like that sensation you get when you've fallen asleep on your arm, and you wake up and it's stiff and tingly until it wakes up, but in reverse. My arms and hands were stiff. I couldn't move them. They were just tingling, just like sleeping on your arms. This was really all I could feel, was the tingling. It was spreading across my body slowly. I guess it was a relief after the pain. I'm not really seeing anything anymore. It's not like everything faded to black, or faded to white. No, the color was gray. But it wasn't gray. It was gray with that color of a soap bubble reflecting the light, or an oil mark on a driveway shining in the sunlight. It was gray, and then every other color at the same time. I don't really wake up. I mean, it's not like wake up in the normal sense. First thing I recognize is that I can see the gray again. I guess it went away for a while. It's lovely. It's shimmering back and forth between everything. Second thing I recognize is that the pressure on my chest is different. It's not like a weight anymore. It's very precise though, and I feel it pressing very, very firmly into me. I'm trying to figure out if my hands are working again and trying to move them, but I can't tell. When I realize with my half-addled brain that it might be someone else, I still don't feel much of anything. I try to take a breath again. It's extremely hot, but I manage to inhale just a little bit, as if you can only take 1/100th of a breath. I keep trying. 2/100ths of a breath. Out. 4/100ths of a breath. The sensation was painstaking. Everything hurt again. The burning was back. I still can't see anything. I feel like I'm drowning. But every breath I take is slightly bigger and helps just a bit more. That's all I'm focused on, is breathing. In, out. In, out. Eventually, I can realize that I'm not actually the one breathing. The pressure on my chest is definitely someone else. Hands, maybe. It's forcing my chest downwards and really not helping though. I'm kind of breathing on my own, even if it's only with 1/4 of my diaphragm. Every couple other breaths I keep taking are hot, like the air is different. Mouth, maybe. I'm dimly aware that someone is trying to give me CPR. Thank you, time-traveling Anons. I've started to regain my basic motor functions. My vision is back, but it's just an absolute blur of colors. Imagine all the colors in a room, now take the most common ones and just make those cover everything. That was all I saw. Oh, wait a bit. There we go. There's some basic shapes. 3 girls. Fuck if I can tell who they were. All of them looked to be kneeling above me. Every couple seconds, one of them got real close and I could almost see the face and eyes. I guess that's whoever was giving me CPR. After she pulls back, I managed to let out a cough. I don't know if anything was in my lungs, but it sure felt like they were still not working correctly. The cough was weak, empty, and just ended in a breath. I was conscious enough to know that I sounded terrible. It's eventually to the point where half my lungs seem to be working, and the tingling is doing the same thing, but in reverse. It feels exactly like I just slept on my entire body, and it was returning to being awake. I can take breaths deep enough to satiate the fire burning inside me. All it does is take away one pain and reminds me there's still another. Those searing hot coals all over my back are back. It's far more focused though, and centralized. It's excruciating though, and I think I want to cry again. That's almost the first sound I make, but it comes out as sort of an ugh before I realize I need more air again. Everyone's in focus. My eyes must be moving and it must be obvious I'm breathing. Because the CPR has stopped and I can now recognize the girl hovering over me. Well, I can't actually recognize her. Her face is a blur, but I can see one detail. She's wearing glasses. I guess it's time to try to move. No, that's not gonna work. The second I twitch a finger, every muscle, the entire way up my arm burns. It's like I've run a marathon and my blood forgot to take the lactic acid away. If you don't know what that is, it's what makes your muscles hurt. Go watch the Magic School Bus or something. Whatever was going on, I could move a tiny bit, but it hurt like hell. It was like all my limbs hadn't finished that waking up process and I was just forcing them into action. My legs do really hurt though. I try to lift my head and I can't really. I get it like an inch or two before my neck just doesn't work anymore. It's enough to see that I'm all twisted around. I don't think I should try moving yet, but the pain is killing me. It's throbbing like some raging fire in my lower back. I can't get away from it. I try talking and only gibberish comes out. Oh no, that's not how you talk. Let's try this again. I thought. There we go. I got 2 words out. I have no clue what I was trying to say though. Let's try this again. I move my tongue around my mouth, trying to get its bearings, like it needed to be in a specific place for whatever was going to say next. I really can't feel my tongue very well though. Try number 3 at talking. Died. Yep, that's about right. I thought I died. Really, I guess I technically was dead for a while there. I didn't even ask the girls how long I was really out. I didn't want to know. But what you've read is the description of exactly, word to word, feeling to feeling, of dying. The more you know, I guess. Those words didn't do much help to any of the girls in the room. Birthday and Homely were scanning my face, as if they could find some kind of solution to fix this. Both of them nearly falling apart with looks of despair. Glasses was leaning over me and staring at my face. She was crying. Her mouth open and only sobbing, just the first few teeth showing. I couldn't see her eyes. The lenses were covered in tears. I felt the need to do like I always did. Try to brighten the mood with a joke. Or something. I start. New rule. Man, it's hard to talk like this. I can't feel my tongue enough to make the words come out correctly. I can't be sure I didn't sound like I had a lisp or if I was even saying words correctly, but I tried. No more dying. It felt really sappy. I feel like I'd seen it in a movie somewhere, but it worked. The girls looked like a load dropped off each of their shoulders, and Homely and Birthday were doing some kind of hugging, cheering thing. I would describe it in detail, but it kinda hurt to look. Just imagine something generic. Someone's going to need to give the memo to Blondie, though. With the added, no more killing either. Oh yeah, wait, where is Blondie? That's my new question. I managed to get her name out to the girls to hear. Birthday gets up and vanishes around the side of the kitchen island. I guess she went to go get her. There were still a million questions about why she was gone though. Did she leave when she realized I was hurt? Did she not understand that I couldn't breathe? I don't even think the girls knew until I turned over, and I don't think she was there. I guess my questioning face was obvious, because Glasses mumbles a quiet, she didn't know. I don't know if that's worth forgiving her for though. The pain in my legs is still there. Getting worse. I wonder if I broke something or maybe my legs are just never going to work again. I still can't move my lower torso, or anything without hurting it really. At least, I think I can't. I try. Yep, still really hurts. Just checking. I enlist the girls for help. My legs. Just saying this felt like an awful cliche. I didn't even say, I can't move my or I can't feel mine, because really, I could move and feel them. Boy, could I feel them. They helped me though. I get rolled the right way up, and Glasses kind of picks me up and props me against one of the lower cabinets so I'm sitting. This makes breathing lots harder, but I've almost fully regained use of my lungs, so it's alright. In my mind, how cliche the "my legs" comment came out made me imagine they thought I was disabled or something. I gripped my teeth through the pain and lifted my right knee up and closer to me before setting my foot down. There we go. Now we all knew my legs worked. I'll be honest, I wasn't really sure myself. I'm glad they did though. Next on the list are arms. They seem to work okay. Not as much pain as the legs. I guess the legs were a ton closer to the nerve cluster. I'm flexing my fingers like they're some kind of new robotic toy when I realize I've been hearing yelling for the past minute. Birthday is screaming something in the distance, and Blondie is screaming back. It doesn't take very long for the screaming to get closer. It doesn't even seem to be an argument anymore. I just hear shouts from Blondie. I see them both come around into my view in the kitchen. Well, I see the feet and legs. Blondie doesn't seem to be walking though. Birthday is dragging her. It doesn't even seem to be a fight. Blondie just gets tossed to the floor near me like she was some hunk of meat from a recent hunter's kill. Even if she was a hunk of meat, she hits the ground like a sack of potatoes. It really looks like it hurt. I don't know if you realized, but Birthday has a way more violent side than all of the other women. It's not so much she enjoys hurting people, but when her friends are hurt, she just goes into a mother bear protecting cubs kind of mode, I guess. It's not something you really want to be on the wrong side of. Before Blondie can get up, Birthday is more or less on top of her. Blondie is trying to get her off, but Birthday is the bigger girl. Eventually, she's just pinned underneath, flat on her back. There's a lot more screaming during this. "Look what you did to him!" Birthday yelled. "When you yelled at him, he had a heart attack and almost died." Well, I guess it looked like a heart attack. To them, I just kind of flopped over and grabbed my chest. "I didn't do anything! He put his hand on me and I shoved him off," said Blondie. "You probably did something earlier to him in the bathroom, slut!" Oh no. Blondie, don't start the name calling. "Who are you calling a slut, Miss Prissy Pants? You had a shower with him." "It's too late. That's because he likes me better. Stop being such a bitch. I bet you sleep with all the boys you invite over, don't you, slut?" Now Blondie suddenly stopped screaming profanities at Birthday. This was only at the point at which Birthday's hands were firmly enclosed around Blondie's throat, and Blondie was getting throttled. This wasn't nice throttling either. I'm in horrible agony, so I assume Glasses or Homely will step in and fix this. You know, anytime now. Anytime at all. Nope, they're just staring. Blondie at this point was now making the entire orchestral arrangement of sounds that you make when someone's choking you. Birthday is screaming all kinds of things like, "He could have died," and "I'm not a slut," and "fuck you." You know, normal girl things. Blondie is still getting choked though. I guess I don't have a fucking choice, do I? I put my right arm out onto the tile floor, kinda lift my entire body up and swing around like a pivot, and I punch Birthday in the jaw. She's really not as close as I'd like her to be. I don't really connect properly. I doubt it even really hurt, but she's surprised enough to be off of Blondie. Goal complete. Now I'm teetering out here on one arm. Not going to end well. I manage to get my punching hand down onto the tile before I crash into it. It's a rough landing, but I end up with my head somewhere warm and soft. Pretty sure I'm lying sideways with my head on Blondie's stomach. Could be worse. I absolutely can't move anymore. My back is killing me. Birthday screams a "What the fuck?" off in the corner. I managed to irk out a "Against the rules" really loudly. I don't know what it sounded like, but I'm sure Blondie was confused as fuck, and Birthday, Glasses, and Homely understood. Wasn't on my list to make Blondie understand. It's literally only been like 2 minutes since I made that rule, but already someone tried to break it. For fuck's sake. I punctuate it with a, "If anyone's strangling Blondie..." I gotta catch a breath. I'm dying. My back is searing white hot. Just moving made it hurt a hell of a lot worse. It's going to be me. I chuckle to myself. I'll strangle her later. The other girls don't seem to be agreeing. There's a hell of a lot of gasping at my comment. Oh, come on. It was funny. They're making really worried sounds, and Homely keeps repeating "no" and "ouch." It was a joke. I'm sorry. I try to make this as clear to them as possible in as few words as I can. I'm interrupted by Birthday, who isn't shouting at me anymore. "No, you're back." Oh great. What now? Probably have a tattoo or something. Someone probably did it while I was sleeping. I fucking hate sleepovers. I'm brought back by imagining what the tattoo is of, by Homely describing a giant red swollen welt with what looks like to be the beginning of a black and blue bruise in the middle. Oh right, I'm just gonna lie here for a bit longer. Blondie's stomach is perfect for relaxing my head on anyways. I can hear the girls in the background doing something. Birthday seems to have decided we need to apply ice and stop it from swelling or getting worse. The other girls agree. I figure ice might feel better than this pain, but I'm distracted by the realization that I've got my head firmly on Blondie's stomach and facing what looks to be the waistband of her pants. And that my weight has pulled the skin away from the waistband just enough for me to see almost inside. The mission has the utmost concentration, and through it I manage to stave off the pain. Being a pervert has its own benefits, I guess. Also, she fucking owed me. Eventually ice is applied. It felt like, well, I mean, you know what ice feels like, Anons. Hint, it was really cold if you forgot. And after a substantial amount of lying there in the kitchen, half on the floor, half on Blondie's stomach, with other girls fretting around us both and making sure we're okay, it hurts quite a ton less. You know, back within pain ranges I can manage to describe to fellow Anons. Thousands of bamboo shoots plunge through your skin at once, or the sensation accompanied by grabbing a pair of pliers and ripping a fingernail straight upwards. I hope you flinched. Serves you right for reading the spoilers. Point was, it hurt really bad, but I could finally take it like a man. Sad part was, I still never got a peek into her pants. I guess some things weren't meant to be. Eventually, I get up. Seems my legs and arms are functioning decently. I manage to prop myself up on a nearby cabinet and sit against it. This really hurts, but I have enough motor coordination to hold the ice pack against my back while I do it. The ice seems to be really helping. I thank Birthday for the wisdom. Blondie is still lying there like she's broken or something. I guess she's just thinking and didn't want to move. Eventually, she gets up and sits directly across from me, her legs right behind mine and her toes halfway up to my left thigh. I'm feeling much less dead than I was before. That's a good thing, I felt at the time. I point out to the group, I made snacks. There's still something crunchy in a bowl and various cups of what used to be cold bottle of soda on the counter. The 3 uninjured girls busy themselves pouring drinks. I guess it's a welcome thing to busy themselves with. Eventually, drinks are properly poured and handed out to everyone. Homely hands me a cup. I try to hold it. I can't stop my hands from shaking, and I'm spilling soda everywhere. I don't know why. Is it finally setting in that I was actually almost dead just a short while ago? Is it the pain? Did I fuck something up back there? I'm feeling completely ashamed as Homely stops my hands and holds them still. She takes the cup and I feel hopeless again as she makes me drink some of it. That's a feel I haven't been over, but being an American especially, it's ingrained into us to feel like shit when we need to ask for help. No lie, it's a part of our culture. Homely helps me drink another third of the cup, complete with crooning and mama birding. I've had enough of that real quick. I tell them I'm going to try to stand up. I do it all in one shot. 1 leg, 2 legs, and I'm on my feet. They still seem to work and I'm not too shaky. I would talk about how much it hurts, but you know already. Plus, I had to smooth this entire mess out. Again, even though it's really not my fault and I should be the last person doing it. First step is Blondie. I shout her name. She jumps, full body muscle tense. Must have been lost in thought. She's now looking up at me. I'm sure from where she's sitting, she can see how hard I'm white-knuckling the counter to stay standing. Apologize! She starts stammering. I'm sorry I shoved you. I didn't Aw, it's cute, but if she's going to apologize to me, it better be on her knees. Ideally with my pants off. Not me. Birthday. The tone of my voice is flat. I've got no emotions, but ow, this hurts. She looks surprised. Not just surprised, that angry sort of, well, fuck you too surprise. Why? I'm not dealing with this. We're not arguing. I just used my oldest trick I've got to fix things. Because you owe me. I've slanted my eyes downward at her angrily when saying this. Guilt. Perfect acting. She's stuck between being angry at Birthday or feeling even worse about hurting me. She mumbles some sort of apology. It's really quiet. I'm glaring at her and I begin moving my mouth to say, louder. She seems to get the idea and repeats it again so that Birthday can hear without me saying a word though. Birthday knows her part. She gives a curt, apology accepted, and returns with her own apology about attacking her. I say, twice. And Birthday looks at me confused for a second before adding an apology for the time she tied Blondie up too. Blondie doesn't seem willing to accept it until I give her another glare. I accept. She doesn't seem very happy about it. This is just the beginning. I spend the next 5 minutes forcing the girls to recount and apologize about every single conceivable little problem they've had with one another, or fight they've started this entire time. It's very cathartic, and I'm sure everyone just feels slightly better than the actual anger less than 30 minutes before. Now, I have the problem of sorting out everyone's feelings towards me. Oh man, this is gonna be great. Well, that's what I was thinking, but my hands are cramping and I just can't force myself to stand anymore. I guess my legs are shaking too, but from what I hear, I had a grimace on the entire time. Whatever it was, Blondie seems to realize I'm teetering upon collapse, and I find myself being supported with my arm over her shoulder and hers under mine. It's a welcome change, and I can let go of the counter and lean on her instead. Because of the amount of clothing we were wearing, my arm was experiencing near full skin contact along her shoulder blades, and hers felt smooth and warm upon mine. It was comforting, to say the least, but I still had to smooth things over with her myself. Hell, all the girls had heard the screaming match. They knew what I had done in the bathroom with Birthday, and they probably thought it was a hell of a lot more than kissing. Alright, I wasn't going to pussyfoot around this topic. I made out with Birthday in the bathroom. I say it loudly and clearly, like I was some kind of confident stud. I wasn't. This could backfire in so many ways, it wasn't even funny. Not to mention, I'm pretty sure I couldn't even hope to curl into a ball and tactical roll out of there. I continue. She was topless, and we had maybe 10 minutes together. My voice is wavering. It's a mixture of pain and my confidence slowly draining away as I'm watching the faces of the other girls. Homely looks hurt. Glasses looks sad, and Blondie just has a grim face on through the entire speech. I'm hurting inside and outside, but I've got to finish what I've started. It wasn't meant to hurt anyone, but Blondie overheard us, and it did. On the words Blondie and did, the girl in question pulled me closer with the arm she had under my shoulder. This stretched my back and really hurt. I'd like to imagine she didn't know this though. I keep up with the speech. I'm dying little by little with each word though. My voice has lost its confidence entirely. I knew this was going to kill me. I didn't mean to lead all of you on like that. It was unfair and selfish of me. I couldn't read their faces anymore. They were shimmering, blurry, wet blobs. I think I was crying. My back really hurt, alright? I wasn't feeling guilty, okay? Don't judge me. I don't blame any of you for being hurt or angry. On the word angry, I'm pretty sure one of the girls gives off a snort like a raging bull, and I'm wearing hot pink sweatpants. But you didn't get your fair chance, and I want to make it up to you. I think my voice even cracked a little bit right there, from the back pain, of course. I'm done with my speech, though. I sink a little on my knees and lean on Blondie more. I figure if she's going to drop me, I might as well be ready for it. I calculate at least 2 full rolls before I'm overcome with pain and can't get away. I'm trying to decide in which position I want to take my deadly beating. I've decided I want to make some sort of heroic pose whenever I stop rolling on the floor. I'm interrupted by a voice from across the kitchen. It sounds like homely, and I'm not looking up in that direction, so I'm not entirely sure. 10 minutes each. Not what I was expecting. 15. Alone. That was Blondie's voice right next to me. It was cold and angry. I might not get to choose which pose I die in after all. I'm not even able to interrupt before the girls are haggling amongst one another. 15 minutes alone, same amount of clothing as Birthday had or more. Then the kicker. Birthday had to sit outside the door and listen. She could only stop when the 15 minutes were up, because she had cheated and tried to hide it. Ouch. Women, man. I mean, this sounds awesome and all, but ouch. Imagine if a group of guys got 15 minutes of free time, each in a bathroom with a girl you were crushing hard on, and you were forced to listen. Yeah, that's fucking harsh. Women are truly all cutthroat, conniving masters of emotional torture. Poor Birthday. I'm actually speaking up to the contest, this kicker when Birthday pops up with her opinion. That's fine by me. It's dull, emotionless, no expression on her face. My lord, this woman is tougher than me. May her heart rest in pieces at the bottom of her chest cavity. Rip. Maybe she just hates me. It would be better off that way. Either way, it wasn't much better off. As long as this back hurts like this, I was definitely a broken man. The mind was willing, but the body was actually weak and bruised. I tried to explain the amount of agony I'm in simply being held up by Blondie in the kitchen. They want none of it. It's happening. This is the grave you dug, now lie in it.psd. I have the feeling that they're just angry at me and one another, and using this as a way to get even. I have the sneaking and very strong suspicion that the entire time they'll try to flaunt everything to the other woman to get back at them, even though they fucking apologized and accepted it and everything. Why aren't they bros yet? Whatever happened to no hard feelings? God, they're truly evil creatures. They decide to play rock, paper, scissors for who gets first turn. Evil, I tell you. First round, and Blondie gets rock with her free hand. Glasses does rock and Homely does scissors. Last place, sucka. Take that. Second round, they both pick scissors. Third round, scissors. Fourth round, scissors. I mean, really, come on. 2 girls just scissoring one another? Who does that? There's probably children reading this. Keep it PG, girls. If there are children reading this story, I promise I won't tell your parents. If there are parents reading this story, I promise I won't tell your children. You really don't care what the final results were, but Glasses won her masterful ability to win every game she plays. It might just be one of those lesser-known superpowers. Whatever it was, I found her arm under my other shoulder and taking the weight off Blondie. I'm then corralled and dragged off towards the master bedroom, with the others in tow. I glance at the clock as we go by. 4:15. I sure hope I can survive the next 45 minutes. That hope is instantly crushed as I realize exactly how painful it is to walk. I'm actually at least 5 to 10% more dead by the time I get to the bedroom. I've got pain written all over my face, and I know Glasses can see it, but she's got a straight face the entire time. We make it into the master bedroom, and Homely and Blondie are locked outside. No eavesdropping for them. I don't make it more than halfway into the room before flopping onto the bed. I don't want to move anymore. I ask if we can just do it here on the bed because it's soft and I won't have to move, but I get a hard no from Glasses. I guess it's meaner if we don't let Birthday watch. Man, that poor girl. I get picked up again and dragged towards the bathroom. I try to think up ways I can make it better for Birthday. I'm really hurting though, so I can't really think as well as I want to. I just come up with the plan of whispering something in her ear as I go into the bathroom. Birthday is just standing there with a sad look on her face, holding the door for us and looking at the clock. I get dragged nearby her, and I squeeze Glasses for a second to get her to stop. I lean over and whisper in Birthday's ear, "I fucked your mother." The last thing she sees is Glasses' shit-eating grin. The door slams behind us, and I hear various loud bangs in the other room. I realize, when we're inside, that I did not put the words out that I wanted to put out. Frankly, I don't think I could have said any sentence in the world that could have possibly been worse. Not a single one. Not anything. Glasses is almost giggling to herself. She definitely heard. She's lowering me to the ground softly with the biggest smile on her face. She probably thinks my plan is great, but I don't have a plan. She's probably going to painfully rape me. Someone, please tell me what my plan is. And then I'm going to be killed as soon as I step outside. Anyone? Glasses tries to lower me to the floor back first. I touch the tile and it stings horribly. It's 2 seconds before I'm on my front, pressing my cheek against the cool tiles. I'm really hurting all over. Not as bad as earlier, but I do not want to partake in sexy time. I try to make this clear. Could we just not do anything? This is a plea. A real plea. There's hope in my voice. I'm internally screaming, "Come on, Glasses, I'll make it up to you later, I promise." But she's direct as always. Nope. It's loud. I know she said it intentionally like that, with glee in her voice. There's more angry sounds from outside the door. I'm so sorry, Birthday. I'm preparing for whatever large phallic objects are going to be inserted into my body. My mind isn't willing, nor is my body ready, but I'm doomed. I can't see what she's doing, but I know it's coming. It's at that moment that I feel something cold and very slimy squirt all over my back. Now, I'm just confused. At least the rape train is bringing lube, even if it doesn't have any brakes. I just brace for impact. I feel a hand. Another hand. She's got both her hands on my back. It actually feels really nice, even if it's a tad tender. She starts rubbing my back. I get a whiff of whatever the cold liquid was. It was lotion. She's giving me a back rub. Well, it was a back rub until she rubs a little closer to the tender spot. I let out an ugh really loudly because it does really hurt, but her hands feel wonderful. She responds with a "How do you like that, big boy?" and a soft but very audible moan. Oh no. Glasses, this is dirty. She continually alternates between firmly massaging my tense muscles to lightly prodding the tender portion of my back. Each time she hits something that hurts, I can't help but let out a sound. Groans or ugh, stuff like that. Every time she makes one of those sounds, she responds with a sexy moan of her own. Every time she makes me make one of those sounds, she responds with a sexy moan of her own. Sometimes it's throaty, and sometimes it's shrill and more of a squeak. Sometimes it was just a long, exasperated gasp of contentment, but it's always loud. I feel terrible for doing this, but the massage feels absolutely amazing, and it's definitely helping my back. Well, until she runs out of lotion and her hand stops sliding so well across it. I take the bait. I loudly state, "Oh, it needs to be wetter," intentionally changing the pitch of my voice halfway through. I can almost hear her smiling. Her voice echoes through the bathroom. "I'm sorry, I can't help it." Every letter with a sing-song pitch. Oh man, I'm dying of guilty laughter on the inside. She does get more lotion though, and the awesome back rub continues. I'm really in back rub paradise and I'm fully into it. I even start giving out tiny moans of my own when she's not even near anything sore. It takes a tiny bit more rubbing before she hands me a question on a silver platter. "Are you close?" I don't even respond with words. She just gets a as loud as I can manage. Her pace intensifies. She's focusing more on my tender areas and working out the constricted knot of muscles from the pain. I can't help it. I'm making every sound in the book very close together. She's breathing loudly. She's letting out little tiny, carefully planned sounds. Squeaks, squeals, giggles. She's got a mental timer, it seems, because eventually she just takes both hands and firmly presses into the tender spot as I hit the counter. I let out a long, exasperated, "Ugh," and she matches it with the loudest, most content sigh you'll ever hear. This woman is an evil mastermind, and I love it. She seems to be counting in her head, so she helps me up and then moves me back to the toilet. I then get draped, one arm over it, the other hanging loose, and she makes a goofy smile at me. I get the hint. I put on the dumbest, most satisfied face I can. She starts washing her hands, and is drying up as there's a knock at the door. Birthday's voice is shrill as she announces time's up. It's obvious she's trying to hide her emotions. The door opens and she sees Glasses just finishing washing her hands and me in the corner with a goofy smile. I feel bad. I really do, but I enjoyed that far, far too much. But it's time for me to get up. Miraculously, I can stand and I don't fall anymore. Fucking miracles. I walk out of the bathroom on only my own 2 feet, and I lean over to Birthday as we leave. The poor girl has such a sad look on her face. I'll fix that. At least with your mother, I was thinking of you the entire time. Well, it's not sad anymore. It wasn't a compliment if any Anons are confused. It's a mixture of quizzical and angry. I laugh. I force it to be a belly laugh and vibrate the air around me softly. This really hurts my back, but it's worth it. The steam coming out of Birthday's ears is priceless. I can hear it hissing like a teapot in the background as I walk away and follow Glasses to the bedroom door. Next up is Blondie. I remember I should ask Glasses to remove all sharp objects from the bathroom, but I can't get to her in time before the changing of the guards occurs. Blondie doesn't come in happily though. The second she's inside, she's got her hands on her hips, and I'm getting daggered via eyes again. I need to come up with a cute name for that. Eye dags? Dag eyes? The women use it so often, I should just have it already. She's firing the damn things at me. Just know that. She's not one for talking this round. She just grabs my waist and drags me along with her. Her hands go right where I really don't want them, and she even digs in a little. It's all I can do from screaming as she shoves me towards the bathroom. Really, you just had to go and grab me there, you dick. Blondie just struts into the bathroom ahead of me and stands there, one hand on hip and a prim glare on her face. I'm wincing in pain as I limp over towards Birthday at the bathroom door again. She's furious. I get close to her again. At least she's got cute boobs, unlike yours. Before she can even realize what I've said, I've slipped out of her grasp and she grabs after me. I close the door behind me and lock it. Then I yell, "Lumpy!" right through it. The banging means it's working. I turn to face Blondie. I catch the corner of her mouth and a smile. She doesn't know what I'm doing, but she enjoyed the compliment. I guess hearing your boobs are nicer than other girls is pretty good. I'm smiling. Hopefully this won't turn out as bad as I hope it doesn't. Who am I kidding? I'm doomed. Alright, Blondie, do your worst. She's still just standing there, one hand on her hip, the other leaning on the counter. She's kind of scary. She's got this half smile on and glaring daggers at me. Yep, I'm doomed. It's a good many minutes later now. I think we're having a staring contest. I think I've blinked multiple times though. She's definitely winning. I'm not sure what we're doing, but I might as well try to start something. I take a step towards her. She takes a step back. I take another step towards her and she takes another one back. She's still got the same expression on her face. I can't read her at all. I sure hope this isn't one of those parts where I have to fight my evil female mirror clone. I continue the one step forward, one step back routine with her until she's backed her way into the large shower stall and against the far wall. I take another step, but she can't move. She doesn't move. 2 more steps and I'm in the shower with her. She's not smiling anymore. Well, she is, but it's not a real smile. It's a shallow, sad smile. The kind of one you put on when you realize something cool can't ever happen because the laws of physics just don't want to cooperate. It's not a happy smile. I'm really not even sure why I got closer to her if she's just going to look at me like that. I do take a couple steps closer though. I'm within arm's reach. But I know better. I'm not going to initiate contact. Instead, I just put on a warmer smile than the one she was holding. I guess I was giving a hurt smile. It made sense because her reaction hurt, and my back hurt, and I was doing a bad job of hiding both. We continue the staring contest from this position. Eventually, I get restless. I take the safer route of building bridges and extend my hand, beckoning for hers. She shakes her head, a prompt and swift back and forth. Her smile is gone. She holds the slightest pout after this movement. I don't know what she wants from me. I ask the question. One word. Why? I try to enforce as much intent and curiosity into it as possible. I try to make it seem as non-threatening as I can. It's another full minute. I just hold my hand outstretched. I know this sounds cliche, like I'm asking the girl to join me on a dance and I'll just stand there waiting for her to take my hand, but let me break the bad news. Your arms aren't really meant to be held stretched out in front of you. When you see a character stretch out like that and hold it for more than 30 seconds, his muscles are fucking burning. He's dying. He's hiding it on his face, but his arms feel like they're going to fall off. After about a minute or two, I dropped my arm. To her, this probably looked like the invitation was over, but to me, it felt like my arm was going to drop off. Instead, I switched to the other arm. I can't even imagine how awkward this looked. Like, on a list of giant fuck-ups that make you look like a massive loser, one of them is not being able to hold your arm out for serious extended periods of time to woo the ladies. I felt like an awkward fucking child extending that other arm, but my first arm really burned, and my back hurt, and the music was too loud, and I just wanted to go home. Extending the other arm got another shake of her head, though. I guess it was a reaction. I cautiously considered dropping the second arm and putting up the first again. Maybe I could get another shake. I'm weighing the odds involved with that idea when she finally speaks. It's alright. Go sit down. What? The mental thought must have broadcast across all female radio waves because she gets the question and doubles down. I know your back hurts. Go sit down. There's nothing but soft compassion in her voice. I'm completely taken aback. This was not the Blondie experience I had mentally prepared for, nor was it the one she wanted. She was pulling off one of those attention-seeking moments, wasn't she? I knew it. I wasn't going to let this go unchallenged. I wasn't going to fall for it. You were the one who asked for the 15 minutes, weren't you? It's again genuinely curious and soft. I'm trying to keep from threatening her in any way. The answer is fast. Almost too fast, like it was on her mind the entire time and she was just waiting for me to ask. I don't deserve it. Well, shit. There's like 1,000 things that could mean. I know what it sounds like it means, but she's a girl, remember? It doesn't mean whatever you think it means. The first and most likely is that she's digging for compliments. She's trying to trick me into feeding her a, no, of course you deserve it. Of course, this could be exactly what she doesn't want to hear either. She could genuinely think that she doesn't deserve to spend 15 minutes alone with me because she's guilty for hurting me. Or both of those could be completely wrong and she just wants another why so that she can explain why she didn't deserve it and talk about herself more. Which, in itself, could just be another plea for attention. Even more likely still, she could just be feeling bad for me and my back, and be lying and saying she doesn't deserve it to convince me to sit down and stop hurting. Whereas in reality, she wants my company for another 15 minutes just as badly as the other girls did. That, or she could have just not wanted to come in here in the first place, is only doing to screw with Birthday for choking her, and she doesn't want anything to do with me, so she's making sure that I don't do anything. It comes to my mind that Girl Translator is in the shop, and I could really use one right now. So, I'm pretty sure all of those answers are a trap. So I go with the safe option. Yes. There's one word for her facial expression. Livid. I knew I had made the right choice. All the others were traps, but not this one. I'd simply agreed with her. No harm in that. That's how it works, right? Always agree with women and they'll love you. Her teeth were slowly clenching. Her eyes were boiling and I could see bubbles welling up. I told you guys, this was the perfect answer. I just let her stew a moment. I keep a calm, peaceful smile on the entire time. I've got to try really hard to keep the expression on my face, though. It's obvious she's going to try to murder me in mere moments. As she prepares the final step of her assassination attempt on Storybro, I stammer, I mean, of course, I don't deserve it. Target hit. The fire in her eyes is dead on. I don't deserve it? I keep the ball rolling, though. I've got to if I want to make it out of this alive. I mean, it was incredibly kind of you to make it 15 minutes just for the other girls. She was lost now. I hadn't just misheard her and agreed. I had misheard, agreed, and complimented her kindness, while clearly stating she was being generous and superior to myself. I've got her stunned and confused. It's time to throw the Pokeball. Thank you. I'll go sit down. I'm spamming the B button as I turn away slowly. I feel her hand grab mine. You've captured Blondie. Do you want to nickname your Pokemon? Yes or no? I turn back to face her. She's got a cute little smile on now. Mischievous. Much better than what she was wearing before. She's not looking me in the eyes though. She's just holding onto my hand with both of hers. My little Blondie can't possibly be this cute. For those of you who don't understand what happened, the entire game is played with words. She wants you to play down her path and she'll judge you as you go. The only way to win is follow her path perfectly the way she wants you to, which is impossible, or make another path that you can't lose. So, I insulted her, redirected the insult at myself to set off her guard, and then I complimented her in various ways, and tried to take her advice and treat it as kindness. Because her goal was never to actually have me sit down, she stopped me. Welcome to Surviving Women 101. Enjoy your stay, lonely Anons. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Man, I sure hope she said those and not me. Don't worry, she said it. With those words, she's established she was still interested and wasn't just doing it to spite other women. That, in my book, was no small victory. I was really out here on a line. I take my victory and advance bravely forward, placing one hand on her waist and pulling her two hands along with my other. I drop one off on my right, and I drop one off on my left. Why, look at that miss. You've got your hands on the shoulders of a strapping young lad. I place my other hand upon her waist and we start dancing to a silent tune. When I say dancing, I mean we trip over one another's feet and fall out of the shower the second I try to make us dance. We were both white. I don't know what I was expecting. Either way, we're outside the shower on the ground and it's all giggles. Dancing isn't a thing you just know how to do. It takes actual effort and serious practice to get it at all, especially dancing with a partner. I proceed to tickle her, citing her lack of tickling earlier as a negative that must be solved. I've got my hands roaming where I want them. I even cop in a couple of feels through her blue bra. Soft and squishy, if you must ask. I keep this up for a minute before she asks me to stop, and I do. Because the one time stop actually means stop is when you're tickling someone. I mean, you can keep going, but don't expect to like the results, Anons. I take this as a hint to actually kiss her. I take aim and fire. I miss. What? How do you even miss kissing someone? I try again. She's dodging. I knew I wasn't that bad at kissing. Every time I come back up, she's got her tongue out and is taunting me. Whatever, I'll go for a more stationary target. I get to her belly button, and it's raspberry time. I get about 3 seconds into it and she's giggling and squirming. Zeus, I love making girls giggle. It's one of the best feelings in the world. Unless it's Blondie, then she just knees you in the chest. It's not hard, but it's enough to hurt. Ow, I swear, Blondie. I'm playfully growling now. I mean, everything hurts anyways. A little more chest pain ain't gonna make my back hurt any more or less. Plus, I expected it. I had my crotch not anywhere close to her legs. I swear, I'm learning. She's giggling up a storm though, but manages to squeak out and I'm sorry. I swear to God, girl. Next time I try to have my way with you, I'm tying you up first. I tell her this. It's too good a thought to waste. She turns the same color crimson as the bath towel on the rack behind her. Not just her cheeks, upper chest and all. Come to think of it, there's a pesky piece of clothing between me and her that I'd love to remove. I pull her forward off the ground a bit and reach behind her. Her eyes tell me she knows what I'm going to do. Her smile tells me it's okay, but her mouth itself, it tells me, no, against the rules. Well, fuck the rules. I place my 2 fingers, one above and to the left, one below and to the right. I twist, just like I did earlier with birthday. I remove my hand thinking the deed was done. Wait a second, it's still on her shoulders. There's no slack in the line. 1 second, I interrupt our intimate moment by flipping Blondie over and looking at her back. I need to know why I failed, why my troops returned empty-handed. Velcro, my mortal nemesis. It's alright, I can see what I'm doing, I've got this. I start fumbling with the clasp. I'm holding her up with the other hand. Velcro with one hand isn't possible, Anons. There's a knock on the door. Time's up. Fuck! It's been 15 minutes already? We wasted far too much time just doing nothing. I get up and lift Blondie to her feet. She's a little tousled. I sort out her hair so it's not a mess and toss her a comb to fix the rest. I'm obviously taking too long because the banging at the door is telling me Birthday thinks we're cheating. We open it, and Birthday is mad. She's mad at me. She's mad that we locked the door. She's mad at everything. I just take my fingers and draw perfectly round circles in the air while looking at her. I then crab tunnel my way out of her reach across the room. It's the changing of the guard again, Blondie for Homely. However, unlike Glasses, Blondie gives me a public kiss of affection on the cheek as she leaves, plain for everyone to see. Territory marked, I guess. Homely doesn't seem fazed. She's cool and collected with a smile on her face. I really don't like her smile. I couldn't help it though. I needed to use her as a wall between me and Birthday to get into the bathroom. I hugged Homely the entire way across, making sure she was always between me and Birthday. I really hoped Homely was willing to cooperate with my dangerous plan. Well, only one way to find out. When we get past the Birthday demon guarding the gate to the Forbidden Realm, I shout, "Bigger is always better," and I grab a fistful of Homely's breasts through her shirt and wink at Birthday. It takes both of us to slam the door closed and get it locked. Thank God Homely was on board. That poor girl outside was ready to explode. She was having the best birthday ever. On second thought, I've just locked myself inside this bathroom with Homely for 15 minutes. I mean, it can't be that bad. I've got this. I retreat backwards to the middle of the room. I take a bow. I step forward lightly with my arms outstretched and ask, "Well, what is it?" She seems unfazed. I'm worried she knows something I don't. "Take off your pants." Rules? This comes out as an awful, high-pitched, voice-cracking question. They only apply to me, not you. The level of confidence in her tone of voice is astounding. She's completely serious. She's had 30 plus minutes to think about this. Why didn't I think this was a threat? I don't know how to escape this. In terms of actual thought processes, they all shut down. I just kind of shut up and take off my pants. I've got those girls' light blue boxers underneath. My brain turns back on time to realize that this is the last female I want to be undressing in a bathroom with. I retort with the best thing I can think of at the time, which is trying to embarrass her into inaction. "Alright, your turn." I keep a straight face the entire time. She just shakes her head and says, "Nope." I win. You get to do it. Oh, I'm not getting out of this alive. This is what I get for trying to help Birthday and using Homely as a prop. I asked for this. Plan C? I pretend that I'm alright with her plan and walk forward a couple steps before doubling over in pain. My back doesn't hurt that much anymore, but she doesn't know that. I take a knee and feign excruciating pain. She's not having any of that either. Before I even realize what's going on, she's calling me a poor baby and shoving one of her bare breasts in my face. "Suck this. Mommy will make this all better." Hold the fuck on. This isn't even hot. This is like some shitty dialogue from an awful hentai. I'm pretty sure that's where she's learned this. I can't comprehend the thought processes she's having. Who does something like this? I fall back onto my hands and butt, and I'm physically trying to lean as far away from her as possible. I have one question on my mind. Why are you doing this? I am worried, not just for myself, but for whatever Apollo-forsaken reason she's coming on to me like this. She has one answer. Because the other girls won't. Hold the fuck on, Homely. That's not how it works. I know exactly what she's doing, and I would be an absolutely horrible person if I let it go through. As I've said before, Homely has an absolutely awful personality, and although she's moderately attractive, I can't stand her, nor do I like her body type. She backstabs others constantly, belittles insignificant flaws in friends, and is just generally a horrible spoil sport. She's not the best looking, and she has an awful personality, so she's a very ugly person overall. As a result, she gets very little attention from males, to the extent at which she's found very few ways to express herself properly to attract the attention of them. Earlier in the sleepover, she was aggressive, but rather tame. I showed her no affections and her attempt to earn them failed, but she begins acting lewd and she gets my attention. Notice the pattern? Through me entirely, she's learned that the way to stand out from the group and to get attention is to act more or less like a total slut. She's got no redeeming qualities otherwise. She's trying to compete with all the other girls strictly on the field of sex, while ignoring the fact that every single one offers me something more. She's acting this way entirely from things she's watched. She has no clue what she's actually doing besides seeking attention. I might hate Homely, but I would be an absolutely shit person if I threw her to the ground and fucked her brains out right there. Was the penis willing? Of course, but the guilt would kill me afterwards. That's shamelessly reinforcing a whore's mentality for a lifetime, just to get my dick wet once? The sad part is that many anons would just do it. I guess it's your choice, but I couldn't. This is every cam whore thread on B, most male or female threads on Soch, and various other examples in every other place you can imagine. Why do you think they show tits, or their dick? Because they feel they have nothing going for them but sex appeal. Mind you, This was not a light decision. If you could quantify the force my penis was exacting upon my mental capabilities, it would be counteracting huge swaths of logic. My crotch was actually creating anti-gravity fields, lifting me off my feet and dragging me across the room towards her. The mere fact that this happens in males is one of my biggest, most hated aspects of us as a species, but it's something I can't fix. Somehow, I managed to come to the above conclusion while hovering across the room. When I looked up, Homely was untying the knot in her pants. Storybro? This was her saying my full name. She had a searching look in her eyes. I knew she wanted me to look at her. She waited until my eyes were drawn to where her hands were, slipped lightly into the waistband of both sides of her pants, and she started sliding them down. I saw her lower navel, the V crease that all women had just started to appear. Stop. I don't know how I said it. My heart was beating 1,000 miles a minute. I was just so ready to let go of logic and go for it, but that little voice on the inside was screaming otherwise. He's the guy that reminds you that you have standards for a reason, that you'll fuck anything but standards let you live with yourself in the morning. I would regret this long before it was morning again, so I just blurted it out. Give me a reason, and I will. She pauses, everything, all motion. I can see her thoughts flowing back and forth. Don't you want to? She said it in the most teasing way possible. It's the question I dreaded. God. Yes, woman, of course I want to, but it would be empty and meaningless. It needs to be special. Those were the words I picked. The ones that mixed everything I could into a package as easy to understand as I could. I knew I was being a hypocritical fuck. If this was any of the other girls, I would take them without even asking that question, but I could safely say each one of them was different and had more to offer me than just sex. That was the difference. Aren't I special? That's not what I mean, and you know it. My penis and you are making this far more difficult than it needs to be. If we have sex, what else will we give to one another besides sex? I'm pretty sure it came out as sort of heckling, trying to demand more out of the deal. I felt really bad, but I tried to pretend it was easy enough to understand. We could do as much as you want. Lord Ares, grant me the strength to overcome. It needs to mean something, anything. In my mind, I'm trying to rationalize and agree with everything I'm saying. It's like the very fibers of my mind are losing tautness. I don't want to just have empty sex with you. I'm actually struggling to get these words out now. I'm making exceptions. I just gave her a reason to come back later whenever she figured out what empty means. I'm losing faith in my ability to resist. I'm not going to last any longer in here. I've got one backup. Plan F. I force myself to look away from Homely and I step into the shower. Turn the tap all the way to cold and stand under the shower head. It's freezing, but I stand there for at least a full minute and endure the cold. I finally turn it off and step out. Homely is still standing where I left her, but she seems to have her clothes back in order. Her breasts are no longer showing and her pants are pulled up and properly tied. I'm freezing. I've got goosebumps all over and I'm shivering endlessly. I grab a towel. I wrap it around myself and sit down on the toilet to try and regain some senses in my skin. I stare over at Homely again. She seems to be back to her sassy attitude. I can tell because her hands are on her hips again. Just tell me what you want to do and I'll do it. This isn't a pleasing, seductive tone. She's being bossy. I can't even sense a large helping of angry in her voice. I guess that's what I get when I turn down sex and tell her she's not making it special. Listen, there's probably a reason I could like you. I just haven't found it yet. I'm being brutally honest. This isn't going to end well. I need to find it first, alright? She seems to actually accept this response. I'm not going to pretend to know what was going on in her head. I've probably escaped with my life, somehow navigated the minefield. I'm sorry, Anons. The conversation you're reading here about the bathroom is just an approximation of what I kinda remember. I can't remember anything but the intentions and eventual conclusions of this event. Just zero recall. So if the dialogue sounds a shitty fanfic, that's because I can't fucking remember what anyone said, and I think it's because I had a raging boner the entire time. The moral and premise are here, though. I don't fuck Homely because there's no point besides sex, and that's not something I want. I just end up sitting there, shivering for another 3 or 4 minutes. Homely doesn't do anything. Really, we've passed the point of anything and just joined the awkward wait for it to end. Eventually, there's a knock, and we unlock the door and leave. Well, Homely leaves. I'm hiding in the shower. I know I'm going to get attacked by Birthday, but I can't see her, so I don't know where she is. I do see, as all the way across the room, Homely has left the master bedroom. I make a run for it. I exit the bathroom, ready to dodge to the left. Birthday is on my left. I don't have a plan for this, so I duck and roll. This hurts like hell. I'm up. I jump and land on the master bed and do at least 4 front flips. I then land in front of the door, to the amazement of Blondie and Glasses standing there. Ha! I've succeeded. I slam the door in their faces and lock it. Time to wrestle the bull. I must have looked hilarious to Birthday from across the room or the girls in the hall. Ran out of the bathroom wet and wearing only a freezing pair of soaking underwear. Flew across the room and closed the door, locking myself inside with her. But she wasn't down for hilarity. She was about to get as angry as I could have got her. I've got the bed between me and her, so I move around the room until it's just me and the birthday girl. She's got fire in her eyes. Every time she breathes, she gives off steam. Even her shoulders are hunched. All her body language screams her being furious at me. She runs at me head first. Hits me right in the stomach. This kinda hurts. I go down. She goes down on top of me, and this really hurts. Next come her fists. She tries to rain in a flurry of blows to my face, but punches aren't hard when they're coming from people who don't know how to fight and are much lighter than you. I fought before. I know how to win. I just grab her forearms and hold them outstretched. This means she's got nothing holding her up above me, and she falls flat onto my chest, her head besides mine. Now, for the plan. Well, it wasn't much of a plan. I'm pretty sure it would either work or I wouldn't be able to work anymore. I whisper in her ear, "Hello, love." I put on the smoothest British accent for this. I gotta play the part. Her response was a gruff and angry, "Let go of me." Not what I wanted, but I could improvise. "What you thinking about?" I put sure emphasis on every syllable. Her response was quick and to the point, with the same gruff voice as earlier. "Hurting you." Perfect. "What about when I was in the bathroom with Glasses?" That you were a jerk. I hated what you said." "Blondie, they're not lumpy, you asshole." "Homely? I was just imagining how I could punch your smug little face to make it just collapse right in." That was an interesting amount of glee in the last comment. I take the chance to roll her over. We end up with me on top, holding her forearms down and staring her down. She struggles a bit, but can't move. Her eyes are still radiating cold heat like a viper just waiting to strike. She's staring at me, silently. Knows I'm thinking something, but she can't see what yet. I had her fuming at me for nearly 50 minutes straight, edging and fanning the flames every chance I could get. She was absolutely furious, to the point at which every thought had to do with punching me in the face or how much of an asshole I was being. This was a bad mistake initially, but halfway through the back massage, I'd realized how useful it could be. You see, the girls had done the mean thing. They had set up Birthday in a situation where all she could do was listen to bullshit and get jealous. But she wasn't jealous. She was angry at me. Instead of tearing her heart into pieces every time she heard a giggle or a moan from the bathroom, she wasn't listening. She just wanted to punch me more. This girl's heart was boiling, not broken 3 times over. At least, I had hoped that's what was going on. It made more sense in my head, but in my head was where I was at the time, trying to make it all fit together like a puzzle. I figured cooling her off was easier than putting her back together again, so I asked her a question I knew would throw her off my tail. Give her a chance to drop a little bit of the anger. I asked if she wanted to take her turn now or later. She gave me multiple looks, hatred, a smile, and then she openly questioned if I was fucking with her. The door was locked. She had 15 minutes if she wanted it. Now. It started off great. I had pinned her, so I stole a kiss. Or 2. Or 3. I'm not sure exactly how long one kiss becomes multiple kisses, but let me assure you it was plenty of them. Her eyes were burning. The flames were still there from earlier, but she was kissing me back. Hot. It didn't take long for one of my hands to start roaming. Upper shoulder, the smooth shape of her collarbone, the foothills of her upper chest. It didn't take long for her to realize her arm was free and hook me right in the shoulder with a hard jab either. I rolled off, clutching it. Her advantage. She was on top now. She straightens herself up and straddles me properly, skirt flowing off to the sides. Between my boxers and her panties, there were very thin layers of clothing separating us. She reminds me of this with a long, firm grind, once top to bottom. She repositions again and bounces. Once, twice, 3 times. My hardness against her softness. It's a lovely sensation. It's hot. My underwear is already soaking wet from the shower, and it's the perfect amount of pressure to make my dick feel loved. But she was still wearing a tad too many articles of clothing for my taste. I make this clear to her in a whisper. The response? Pick 2. I thrust against her softly at this revelation and move up to meet her in another kiss. Of course, the kiss has a secret motive. Good old righty sneaks around the back and lowers the drawbridge. 2 fingers, good as a snap, and the bra is unhooked. Not Velcro, the best kind. In moments, the bra's off. I've unleashed the beasts. I move one hand to her right breast. It's warm, soft, like a bag of pudding, and absolutely impossible to not play with. I think I've made this comparison already. I end up twisting her nipples softly as I return to kissing her. We're playing tug of war with our tongues. There's no friction, no line in the sand, but the grappling and pulling is all there. She's moved on to tasting like an apple tart without sugar, bitter but lightly sweet. I continue the kiss until I decide it's my turn to be on top again. I pull back and push forward again and get a grip on her shoulder with my teeth. I bite, and she falls back. I'm on top. She's got her legs open, and I'm between them. I'm still nesting myself against her. It's heavenly. I let her know how much I'm enjoying it with a nice little thrust. Even though it's just cloth on cloth, she gasps. I give her another, and another. Her mouth stopped closing, and her breath was always ragged. I force her fully onto her back, grab both her legs and squeeze them together in front of me. This puts her bum in tantalizing view, but I've got other plans. I grab the hem of the underwear and slowly slide it off. She can keep the skirt. I roll it up and off her upright legs and toss it to the side. I don't even look down. I know she's mine for as many minutes as the lock holds. I spread her legs and lean back in for another kiss. She locks her ankles behind me and squeezes her thighs. I'm forced roughly against her, boxers barely containing the sensation. It feels absolutely astounding. A warmth is seeping through the underwear that wasn't present before. I'm in heaven, really. I lean backwards and start to take off my boxers, and I'm looking around for where the parents probably keep the condoms. I find her hand on mine. She's stopping me. I'm confused. I look up at her. There's a strange sadness in her eyes. I don't understand it one bit. We can't. Wait, hold on a second. Let me get a condom. It'll be fine. She shakes her head. I thought the Cold War was over. I'm staring blindly at Birthday's face, not really seeing anything. I can't read her emotions. Mine are overpowering them. Now, I know I must have just misheard the catastrophic miscommunication that just went down. There's absolutely no way the words, "we can't," just came out of a wet and willing female. In my entire lifetime of anime, television, and movie experiences, this shouldn't happen. When you excite a girl, she's putty in your arms. That's how it works, right? There's no media I'd ever seen where she was not into it and completely unwilling, but sadly, as is the case in most of this story, life is not like an anime. Or, in many cases, Anons, there's 1,001 reasons women will let themselves get close but won't go further. Regret, more self-control than you, or just plain Catholicism. Whatever the reason, I was a self-centered male, and my ego was shattered. There was no reason we should stop. I saw no logical idea in my head that would even remotely make sense as to why I'd failed. For some unknown reason, I was not copulation material, and that hurt. Physically, as I had what can only be considered an unstoppable force in my boxers, and they were trying to stop it. And mentally, I was picking up the shattered pieces and cutting myself on the edges. This is where the questions start. Why? Anger in my voice, maybe. Hurt. Confusion. In the bathroom, I chalked it up to not enough time or too public of an area at the house. Here, I couldn't see any excuses, but it could still be a myriad of other things she wasn't telling me. I get a response. Just those sad eyes and a shake of the head. I always wondered if, in some futuristic reality, this kind of moment would ever change, or if you could hook up and feel every emotion and sensation your partner was feeling at the time, one of you would cave. Maybe you'll get to experience that someday, Anons, but today was not that day. I had to change her mind myself. I asked the worst question possible, saying instead of doing, "Can I change your mind?" I'm full of intent, staring her deeply in the eyes and moving my left hand down her side and towards the expanse below her skirt. She softly grabs my wrist and stops me, dragging it and placing it back on her waist. There's not many ways you can respond to that. Maybe she's not warmed up yet or something. I'm still latched to the idea that it's my fault. I mean, it was, wasn't it? Not enough foreplay and not enough tender attention on my part. I lean into her again, connect my lips with her neck and suck on it softly. She gasps and I press my hips forward and grind just the tiniest bit. She softly releases air, the tiniest hint of vocal emanations from it. These are good sounds. I know these are good sounds. I know that if I'm straining hard to resist, she must be straining just as hard. I know she's struggling internally. I just have to get her to give in. This plan's going to work. I know it. I try to take a dive. I grab her waist and begin lowering my head downwards. I figure I could try going down on her. I haven't been unlucky with that yet, so maybe she'll enjoy it enough to... I don't even make it far before she realizes what I'm doing. She grabs my hair and forcibly yanks upwards. This isn't a soft tug on my hair. I'm pretty sure she actually rips a couple strands out. She's holding my face stationary above hers. Maybe an inch, maybe two. All I can see are her eyes. They're actually twinkling in the light. I'm worried she's crying, but as far as I can tell, her cheeks are dry. She yanks me sideways. I'm sure tears are in my eyes. Having your hair pulled is just one of those things that really hurts. I get a kiss on my cheek, then quickly pulled back to my earlier position. No. She lets go of me and gets off her back. I know what that word means. I know what her tone means. I mean, there's nothing I can do to change her mind. She's sitting now, legs folded cleanly under her, knees facing me. My eyes are drawn to her skirt. Her two hands are smoothing out the creases as it billows out around her. It's come to my mind that I hadn't even looked. How fucking stupid could I be? I thought she was mine. In the urgency, it didn't even cross my mind. Her breasts are still uncovered though. I get back to staring at them while plotting my next move. This is where the pleading starts. I start the process in my head. Maybe if I beg, maybe if I grovel, she'll let me. I realize that this is pathetic, an appeal to an emotional side of her that probably wasn't receptive at the moment, not to mention pathetic. Maybe she was just angry at me, and this was revenge. Really fucking pathetic. I had no way of knowing. I couldn't read her over the thoughts in my head, so I just gave up. I just fell to my back and went back to my favorite pastime, staring at the ceiling. I didn't want to just burn all bridges and go completely autist though, so I just threw a question out after a moment or two. What do you want me to do? I wasn't being soft, sincere, angry, or questioning. It was all business, a demand even. I'd even crossed my arms above my head and was using them as support as I stared angrily at what seems to be my favorite ceiling in the house. I wasn't looking down, but I knew that the tent in my boxers was a momentum that she and I both knew existed. Not that she seemed to care. Nothing. Ouch. That word hurt. I knew whatever was going on here was for some reason that I didn't understand. The worst part? My spider bros were gone, off making webs somewhere for the night. I had no allies in my time of need. I'm back to not giving a shit, I guess. There's an army of men screaming inside of me. I'm falling quickly into anger. Not really true anger, but that mood where you just lash out at others to hurt them because you feel hurt. Who is she to lead me on and end it here? I'm thinking intrusive, angry things, calling her angry names, intentionally trying to break the heart that I had tried to keep together earlier. I don't act on them directly, so I just take the beta route. Where did I screw up? She's got an instant response. She was expecting this question, which is always a bad sign. Nowhere. She pauses. I see her out of the corner of my vision staring at me. Probably my crotch. It's the tallest object in the room right now. I'll finish you off. Thank fucking Iris, goddess of chaos. She crawls over to me. I watch her breasts the entire way, nothing like a girl's breasts pointing nipples to the floor and swaying the entire time. Reminds me of the soft swaying of a ship on rough seas. She's eventually got my dick within grabbing range, which means we're going to get some action started. X marks the spot. Come and get it. It's about fucking time. I'm just frustrated, ripping at the sails at this point. I've had a constant on-off erection for 40 minutes now. All I wanted to do was find some worthy wench to deposit a load into. Pirate's booty denied. I guess I could accept a bit of ol' suck on the bottle. Except, she starts with her hands. One hand above the boxers, one below. This can't be anything but good. Oh, how wrong I was. She was pulling far too hard. I was wincing. She was rubbing the cloth roughly against it. I completely forgot that this girl had no clue how to give handjobs. I think no clue was an understatement. This was like the first time using chopsticks, no clue. This was like first time giving a handjob with chopsticks that you've never used before today, no clue. I was getting an Indian rope burn Mark II. I'm actually making those sounds the velociraptors make in Jurassic Park internally, even a couple externally, but she's not getting the hint. Fuck, the sounds coming out of my throat would fit in 40 million years ago. It was like she lit me up, grabbed my monkey, and started to go. She was trying to start a fire, and her hands were cold as ice. It was making me tired,
like a rerun of Miami Vice. I want to walk away. Fuck this whore. I want Homely to open the door. Wait, I'm on the floor, making sounds like a dinosaur. It doesn't take me long to stop her, completely. The words, "You are hurting me," do not even begin to explain the pain she was causing. I could be bleeding for all I knew. I didn't even look. I now realize I have the daunting task of teaching this girl how to give me a hand job. I don't know where to start. Basic human anatomy, maybe? She might be missing a couple important bits, like the ones where it being attached was important. I'm mulling over how to explain this when she interrupts my thoughts. I can try my mouth? Oh, right, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, go ahead. It can't be worse than the hand job. Oh boy. I should really stop saying that. There's quite a few things that I neglected to explain about blowjobs earlier, mostly because the previous girl to give me one had more or less drunk, horny, and was given no choice but to actually take it. Now birthday started with kissing. Anons that have bad blowjobs know what kisses feel like. They look hot as fuck, but they don't really feel like anything. The hand she's using to hold your dick upright to kiss it is stimulating you more than the kiss itself, and the hand isn't even moving. I didn't want hot. I had hot for hours. I was stuck in a full threshold of hot. I just wanted to get off. You know that feeling. I decide I need to take things into my own hands. Literally. I wrap one of my hands around the base and start stroking slowly while she's kissing and softly pressing her lips against the thing. She seems to decide my hand is in the way because she grabs it and slowly pulls it off. I'm trying to help you, woman. Door's stuck. Please, I beg you. She returns to doing absolutely nothing but torturing me. We're dead. I hint that she should put it in her mouth. I mean, that's how blowjobs work after all. I figure it would feel better than the kisses. She seems to acknowledge his request and pulls up again. She puts the tip in her mouth. Now, if she had sucked it, I would have said sucked it, but it's just in her mouth. Now, about those things you need to make a blowjob actually feel good and not just like your dick is wet. Number 1, suction. If she's not closing the gap and applying suction, you're going to barely feel anything. Number 2, friction. Lips or throat action, but absolutely no teeth. Unless she really knows what she's doing, cheeks don't actually count. For friction to work, you also tend to need movement. And number 3, tongue action. It can make or break a blow. Trust me. Now, Birthday was doing none of these things. No suction. Her tongue was sitting at the bottom of her mouth, and she wasn't taking me very deep at all. Really, only about the first 1/7 or so. The only thing she was doing right was not biting me, but I did feel a couple of scrapes with her upper jaw, which happens sometimes. Luckily, that's not usually that jarring, so I had to give her a little bit of credit. I decided to try and instruct her to do it better. Remember, you can't just tell people they suck at blowjobs. If they suck, they're at least doing the right thing. So I try to hint at various things she can do. Suction. She manages a bit of a weak effort at rolling it around the tip. Better than nothing. Lips and movement. She's going back and forth. Still not very far, but it's a start. Depth. Now this one was tough because she wasn't taking kindly to my request to put more of it in. I have to practically beg and plead with her to get any more of it in her mouth. I wasn't even against begging at this point. It takes her a bit, but eventually she relaxes enough to get about halfway down, maybe a little further. It feels much better than when she started. I might be able to enjoy this, but she pauses. She doesn't move for a couple of seconds. I take my hands and gently press her downwards, trying to get her just a little more inside. She gets about a half-inch further before she gives a cough and I let go. She quickly pulls her mouth up and off and sits up completely. Horribly confused and distraught. Look on her face. I can't do it. You smell like my dad. Of course. The soap belonged to her dad. It's like the gift of bad decisions and bathroom products that keep giving. I'm completely done with her. My mood is fucking ruined. I just walk over to my boxers and pick them up and put them back on. She's sitting there in the middle of the floor, just sitting on her folded legs, skirt flowing around her. She's still beautifully attractive, but I can't handle this. I'm now hovering next to her, trying to decide what to do. I end up picking up her panties from next to her and strutting off to the bathroom. I don't bother closing the door. She can watch if she wants. I take a good look at the cloth in my hands, soaking wet spot right in the middle of the crotch. I drop my boxers, get a firm grasp, and start stroking. I take the panties and press them against my face. I mean, might as well. The wet spot is cold, but it warms up quickly. It smells like a stronger, more direct version of the musky sex smell that was permeating the other room. The fabric smells like freshly washed socks. The juices smell tart, sour. They have the slightest fruity aroma and a much more overpowering musk like light sweat. I contemplate how hard I want to bend Birthday over and fuck her brains out. I'm really imagining rough, dirty, screaming sex. I pretend she's not resisting, but in my mind she is. It doesn't take long. I blow a load all over the toilet because into the water would be too easy. The imagination is better than the real thing, I guess. I use the panties to clean up the mess I've made. Until they get washed, these babies are ruined. Smears and trails of various juices across all of them. Learning from my past mistakes, I'm very thorough. No more bathroom explosions, thank you kindly. I turn around to find Birthday staring, leaning against the doorframe and silently watching. I walk over to her and ask her, out of kindness and not being a jerk or anything, "Do you want me to get you off?" There's silence for a bit, and she responds with, "No, I'll do it myself." Those weren't really words, it was like an exasperated sigh of defeat. Now, she knew what I was feeling. I held out the panties and used my other hand to force her to grab them. "They're ruined. You won't be able to wear them now." I tried to imply a couple things with this sentence. I hope she realized which ones. I retreat to the bedroom again, leaving her holding the cloth limply in her outstretched hand. I'm still watching her out of the corner of my eye when I say, "I'll owe you a do-over when we're both ready." I tried to shift the blame as much to myself as I could to make her feel better. Her hand tightly squeezed around the underwear. I just put my sweatpants on and left. I closed the door behind me. To my surprise, none of the girls were out here eavesdropping. I was fully expecting having to fight them away from the door to give Birthday some privacy. I didn't feel very good about myself leaving her like that, but what else was I supposed to do? She didn't seem to want my involvement at all. It was best to leave her alone, I think. She was probably going to fap, though. I mull this thought with an endearment as I tromp off, fully expecting at any corner to be mugged by angry women. Nobody in the living room and nobody in the kitchen. I checked the guest room. Raven's still sleeping peacefully in there. No other girls. I guess they're in Birthday's room again. Sure enough, the door is locked. I don't just barge in though. I knock softly 3 times. "Come in." It was Blondie. That was her sing-song voice, but it wasn't her sing-song voice. I didn't even open the door yet and I was worried. I opened the door. Get on the floor. Everybody walked the dinosaur. All 3 of them are still wearing what I last saw them wearing. I guess that's good. They all have fake smiles on though. That's not good. Really fake smiles. "Hey there, man of the hour. Got plenty of action, didn't ya?" This was Glasses, which was punctuated with a wink. But what in Loki's name have I walked into? Blondie and Homely are just staring me down with genuinely terrifying fake smiles. I'm preparing to start tactically rolling away when Homely asks a question. "You must be tired from all the action you got with us." I hear Glasses got the furthest. Nope. I walked into a trap, and I knew it. We're trying to get me to reveal information about what happened in each room, but I'm not playing this game. I know what they're doing. I avoid answering, but the other 2 are straight to business. Blondie asks me, "What did you do with Birthday after you had her all riled up?" "I bet she gave you that bruise on your shoulder," Glasses retorted. I looked down at my shoulder. There is indeed a red spot where I was punched, but no bruise. I didn't realize she had hit me that hard. I told them the truth. We attacked one another and fought. Neither of us walked away happy. It was the truth. I was completely sincere. I guess it passed the sincerity test because nobody seemed to question it, but I had to question them next. "What have you girls been talking about in here?" I try to make it an innocent question, but there's no way to make that an innocent question. Blondie obliges and begins spewing information. "Everything?" Well, that was informative. "Glasses told us about her kissing techniques. Homely said she got you to go the furthest with her. Did you really let her see it?" Blondie is saying these things like it's some kind of joke or like it's empty gossip. I mean, that's how she was phrasing it, but each word is dripping with jealousy. They've been sitting here lying to one another the entire time about what happened in the bathroom. I'm not playing this game. I can't win. I say one word. Spoilers. That's all they're getting. If they want to start a fire under one another, that's not my problem. Even though it is my problem, I'm pretending it's not. I walk across the room and just plop down on the bed. My back hurts and I've been hiding it for ages now. I just let out a groan and try to prop myself up on a pillow against the headboard in the wall. The girls watch me for a bit. I'm very comfy and I just stare back. Then they try asking me various questions. I'm just silent. I'm just staring. It's like we're playing a staring contest. Eventually, they decide they're losing, or they don't want to play anymore and decide to watch TV. They were right. I was staring at barely clothed teenage tits the entire time. When I turn around to watch TV sitting on the bed, I don't have anything fun to stare at anymore. That's boring. I try to pay attention to what's on the TV, but I can't be bothered. My eyes get heavy and I close them for just a second. They're closed much longer than a second though, as I drift asleep.
Hey guys, Storybro here. I'm deathly fucking ill, so you'll probably notice an audio change around the 2 hour and 40-minute mark. I go from sounding normal to sounding like fucking garbage. I did the best that I could possibly do to master it and to just hold my voice to like something acceptable so it would sound okay for you guys. It's excruciatingly fucking painful, but I promise you guys Friday, so it's coming out on Friday, you know? Live by the sword, die by the fucking sword, see if I give a fuck. But yeah, so my vocal cords are probably permanently damaged now, and I feel like shit. But the story's out there for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. A lot of effort went into this one, just trying to overcome the fucking sickness. Also, when I upload this, please don't spam me with comments and tweets and messages and DMs, and like I try my hardest not to get frustrated by it, but it does get kind of annoying when literally all I'm seeing every single fucking day, all day, is when is the next part, when is the next part, when is the next part. Like I'm happy you guys are excited for it, but you gotta understand how long these videos take. I'm not gonna be able to put one out every fucking 2 days, guys, so like every Friday's the upload schedule. I've said this multiple times. It's Friday for the long stories. Wednesdays are for bullshit videos. Wednesdays will be for like vlogs, game highlights, small stories to hold you guys over. Wednesdays are just filler content. Fridays are my main channel series that I have going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this part nonetheless. See, it got significantly less lewd and kind of genuinely entertaining. So, I hope you guys enjoyed it. There was a lot of emotion in this one. I feel like I love watching myself progress, not to be narcissistic or anything, but I feel like I've been progressing like really well in terms of I guess my craft. I mean when I'm not sick, that is. And I can really see myself kind of putting in like emotion and conveying the story well, and I feel like this has probably got to be one of the best jobs I've ever done reading a story. So I really hope you guys like it. I actually like listening to this back. It kind of makes me happy, and you know, I'm stoked we hit 54,000 views on the last one. I've gone up 3,000 subscribers in the past 4 days, so thank you guys so much for all that. Be sure to like and subscribe. I will be finishing this series no matter what happens. Even if YouTube smites the video, it may take me a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but if something happens to this series, oh fuck, there's my voice. If something happens to this series, or if like something crazy happens, like something happens to my computer, God fucking forbid, or I get sick again, or YouTube fucking nukes me, you know, I'm gonna finish this fucking story. So don't you even worry your pretty little fucking heads, boys. Doverbro's got you. I'm an absolute fucking madman, and I'm just rambling now because I'm sick and I kind of just want to talk, and got a little bit of frustration because a lot of people keep asking me for the next fucking part. Well, here it is. But yeah, please stop spamming me with that, for real. It's kind of annoying. I'd like to see you try and balance, you know, everything going on in your daily life and making videos this length. Like I don't think you understand how long it takes. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for being hyped for this series. Thanks for all the support, and I will see you in the next one on Friday. I know there's going to be a couple troll comments saying when's part 2. That's fine, but you know. Anyways, thanks guys. I feel like shit. If anyone wants to send me some fucking cough drops, I'll go get a PO box. What the fuck was that sound? What the fuck?